Hey guys, this is Joseph with the Jeweling Podcast, and today we got another episode for you. We talk to Guy Beard. Guy Beard is one of the most prolific designers, craftsmen, manufacturers in our industry. He's responsible for a lot of things that are going to be very familiar to you when you hear what they are. He has the most insane stories we've ever heard. He's one of the most interesting people that we've ever talked to. So I'm really excited for you guys to watch this episode and to hear this guy talk. Let's get right into it. Thank you guys so much. Yeah. Guy, you have any idea how we can set, we just got a request. You got any ideas on how we can set a mustard seed into a pendant?
Oh, we've got this thing. It's called like a little reliquary, and what we've been putting in though is the little pearls that came off the Santa Margarita. They found this little lead box. Our buddies were treasure hunters, and they were reworking this one wreck and found a little lead box. And it was full of Atlantic saltwater pearls, and they've got little small ones, and they made this thing that they call a reliquary, and it's got glass in it, and you can put the mustard seed right in the center of it, and you can see it from both sides.
Wait a second, that's crazy.
You did not expect him to actually answer that question in great detail.
I did not. Yeah, that was semi-rhetorical. That was the greatest answer. So hang on, I'm typing that. So you need to find. So I need to tell this customer that she needs to dive down into the Atlantic and look for lead boxes. Yeah. Wait. So
no, but we've got access to all those pearls. I mean, they actually have some of the largest Atlantic saltwater pearls in existence. So, they're extinct now. So, but yeah, we send you a picture of one of these little things.
Yeah, I'd love to see. No, so hang on, unpack that. Now, what is this? What are these pearls?
We're going to unpack multiple parts of that. One is Atlantic saltwater pearls.
It's like in a silver bezel with glass.
He's got buddies that are treasure hunters.
Yeah, I think every word of that needs explanation. Wait a minute. So hang on. Yeah, take us through. Wait a minute. First of all, what are the pearls? You said they're extinct?
Yeah, the mollusk is extinct now. The oyster or the mollusk that grew them, they overfarmed them. The Spanish overfarmed them a long time ago. They were back, 400 years ago. That little box sit on the bottom of the ocean for 400 years. And then these treasure salvers found it, and then they sent them to GIA to have them all basically worked on, treated. And but there's little pearls that are like, that they put them in these little silver circles, and they got like a glass, and you can see the center of it.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's we need. That sounds exactly like what we need for this thing. Oh. Yeah. So What? So they don't drill through the pearls because you obviously, I guess you wouldn't want to do that to those.
No, it's just sort of suspended in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So treasure hunters found these?
Yeah. Yeah. We're doing programs with that. Jimmy's still doing a pearl program. I'll send you some pictures of the ensembles that they made. Had a conjugated pearl that they made like a butterfly out of, and they've got about 2 different sets. So,
wow. What do the pearls look? Are they kind of like they have like a pink? Like what color are they?
They're white. And the nacre layers is deteriorated on some more than others, but It's an interesting. It's a great story, but I'll send you pictures on the pieces that Jimmy and his partners built. They're pretty interesting.
Wow! So these guys are these guys like pearl hunters, or are they just they're like shipwreck?
Oh yeah, no, they were. It was a company. It was Key West Ventures. Is that what it was? Blue Water Ventures. And they were professional treasure hunters, and they go around. And since then, they've got out of that business, but they reworked the Santa Margarita a long time ago.
Wow!
Yeah.
Cool. So
Yeah.
in that shipwreck they found, you said they're in like a lead box?
They were in a little lead box that went down, and they had some little ornaments, jewelry ornaments they found near it. And the pearls, we're basically taking them and putting them into mountings. Jimmy is. Now they call them reliquaries, and there's the bigger pieces that I'll send pictures of. They're beautiful.
Wow. That
Yeah.
is crazy. It also sounds like something they would find in like a Marvel movie, like they just like a lead box at the bottom of the ocean. I think that's the plot of the last Mission Impossible movie, Dead Reckoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the plot of that.
Was there a heart beating in it, like Davy Jones's heart or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they haven't found that yet.
Yeah.
They are chartless.
Yeah, Heartless. Yeah. Did the U.S. government quickly come in right after them and clean everything?
It was the tail end of Mel Fisher's. Mel in his group went in and did a Tosha, and then they did the Santa Margarita, and these guys basically came in after that and reworked one of his sites and came up with these things using a different technology. But yeah, so that's an interesting project. It's something that Jimmy's been. I was working on it, and then I got out of it, and Jimmy got into it. So we'll send some pictures on it.
Yeah, please. I'd love to see that. I've heard of the Etosha. That they got. What do they have? I might even have one. They have like the coin. Would they find a bunch of coins or something in that?
They found a bunch of coins, big silver bars. It was quite a thing at the end of the day. And my buddy was an archaeologist, lead archaeologist on it, and they found a lot of things, made a lot of jewelry out of it, and it's pretty much that jewelry is already into the marketplace, and there's no more of it, and you just have to keep buying it from somebody that wants to sell it. So,
right. Wow, that's awesome. I think shipwreck jewelry is one of like the cooler things that could happen. I mean,
yeah, it's really it's got a great story. That's what it is, and then you get to do the whole story. But the problem is there's not that many more. It's harder and harder to do this because all the attorneys get involved and the governments get involved and
right.
it pretty much take away all the treasure and the poor guys that found it.
Right.
I've spent all this money and have nothing to show for it,
Yeah.
So that's sort of how that's going.
So the government, whatever the entities, they try to, if someone finds if I go out in the ocean and find something, if I say something out loud or try to make something out of it, people come in and
they go back to the country of origin and all this.
Yeah.
It's a lot tougher than even Mel Fisher had a lot of problems with it, but it's gotten a lot more where people just don't want to do it because it costs a lot of money. It's a big operation to do it right. And then when you find something, there's a good chance you're not going to be able to keep it. So,
right.
Yeah.
I think now there's like hedge funds that are investing in this now.
Yeah.
I've read about a few hedge fund guys that are investing and then creating, companies for this, and probably they have high-powered lawyers and all that stuff that can deal with this, and then they're taking like pretty advanced technology, including like AI and 3D visualization and all this stuff, and they're scanning the sea floor and looking for the stuff. Yeah, I mean they'll take like a ship that they know is there, and they'll just take that whole thing and do it as a project.
Yeah, no, that's how it works. And then we were using satellites, different type of penetration processes, and so there's a lot of technology that they're using, but the market's gotten so small with it because there's not enough of it to really get out there and promote it. Now the store in Key West, the Blue Marlin that has our platinum cable down there, he has the pearl pieces also, and so that's a good area because they have that whole Key West has that treasure pirate type feel going on.
Yeah.
And so, that's it was exciting.
When did they find that stuff?
The Tosha, it had to
Or
be back
the
in
pearls?
The Santa Margarita.
Santa Margarita. There's a whole write up and story that I'll send to you. We got all the pictures, all the documentation, and GIA certified. They did all the work on the pearls, and every pearl's got a certificate. So it's interesting. Yeah. When I was more involved with it, what I wanted to do was take the pearls that had the bad nacre layer, and I went to sandblast that layer off and reseed them into pearls. I mean, into oysters, and let them grow another nacre layer on top of it, which will create something totally different, So
Yeah, kind of how they try to get like the seeds and stuff. I mean, could you grow? It would grow another lacquer layer. Would there be a chance that it would? Oh, I guess not. The species of mollusk is gone. There wouldn't be a way to get more of the pearls, I guess, out of that, would there?
Yeah. Well, it's the seed. It's what it would be. It'd be like the seed that they in the cultured pearls.
Mm. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. In relation to that a little bit, it's a little bit of a different thing, but speaking of like treasure hunting and different things like that, actually, how I heard about you before, like way long time ago, maybe 3 years ago, maybe longer.
Yep.
Is a random episode of a podcast. It's like a Joe Rogan podcast. He had this guy that had I think it's called the Bone Farm or something up in Alaska.
It was John Reeves.
John Reeves.
Yeah, he has Fairbanks Gold, and they have a what they call boneyard, and they found this one area that they were doing. They did these big water cannons and shoot away the permafrost and go down to explore for gold. They're very active in the gold recovery. But he found this one area that had all these bones. I mean, it had these woolly mammoth tusks. It's got double bison heads. I mean, big horse heads with teeth. I mean, it was really a remarkable sight. And he came to us. We started making some jewelry out of it. And then his daughter got into, came over, and we started working with her. And now she has, her name's Alora Reeves, and she sells a lot of that. Like, she has what's the name of her? Gold Daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Long.
yeah.
Laura Long.
Yeah. So that's we had two of his tusks in here, and it's an interesting material to work with.
I think that's what they referenced. Well, they did two things. They referenced John referenced his daughter maybe making some stuff with you or whatever that was, and then basically said that there was at the time, me not knowing you, not knowing Jacksonville or anything. I'm up in Tennessee listening to this podcast from Austin with a guy in Alaska.
Yep.
I wasn't connecting anything, and it was basically like, yeah, this guy in Jacksonville has these tusks. And
yeah,
I heard that. I'm like, what?
We had them for about a year and a half or years, I believe, and it was the only tusk I think that he ever offered to sell. He's got tremendous amount of bones, fossils, tusks. And you can see it on Boneyard, Alaska. You can go online and YouTube and watch. It's really interesting.
It's the craziest. Short-nosed, like bears, like instinct animals. I mean, the whole thing is, not to get too off on it, but the whole thing is just insane. The species that they didn't think were over here at the time, and
they found a lot of species that weren't even supposed to. They were supposed to be, thousands of miles away. They found them in this one area, and they're really not sure how they all ended up there. But there's, they're, and he likes bone hunting more than he does hunting for gold.
Yeah. It's way more fun. I mean, how much more fun is that? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just because you never know what you're going to find.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you hear that last thing he did? Are your treasure hunter people going up to? They said something. Neil, this relates to you. They, I guess he bought a company that was doing stuff in the 50s with some music. Anyway, the end of it was basically that they thought that they had maybe dumped like a ton of mammoth tusks and bones into the Hudson River.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about that, but there is a story about that. I'm not sure what it is, but they find them up there.
Yeah.
So, but it is, these animals, they died there, and they got into that permafrost, and it's a real interesting project that he's got going. He's got the bone dome, big old geodesic dome full of bones and samples, and so. But it's interesting medium to make jewelry out.
Yeah, what's the material? You were saying the material is kind of interesting to work with. What is that? Like, what's it like?
Yeah, it's like bone. Kind of it's like almost like a resin type thing, except it's got grain to it. It's got colorizations, and you could be working on a piece, and all of a sudden it just breaks apart. And
right.
Yeah, so we were doing some treatment types processes to it, and it's going back to work just the natural pieces, and you can cut them and put them in bezels. You can make pendants, earrings. We want to make some with basically the shapes, and then put a inlaid strip with diamonds in it. So wow. It's a lot of fun. Cool. Yeah, we don't do as much of it as we used to do.
Wait, so you're cutting, like you have the whole tusk and then you're cutting pieces out of it for the inlay, or how does that work?
Yeah, what you do is you cut it just like the inlay, if you want, is you almost just, take a burr and burr it out. It's, you can take it, and just cut your inlay. You can mark it off and then take a burr and go down there and cut a recess and then put a piece into it. Or you can create a bezel and cut the tusk and set it down into the bezel.
Wow. Yeah. That seems nerve-wracking. Is that like a material that's a little more intense to work with? Like, or you got ice in your veins, I guess?
Yeah. Now, didn't you wear that bracelet? And
yeah,
and that was a hard piece to make because it set down in there and it had to be flush, and it went down too far. We had to drill some holes in the back of that epoxy and push the thing out, fill it back in, so then fill the jewelry piece back in. But that was a nice piece.
Yeah, I actually think I have we'll put it up here after, and so everyone can see. Neil, I think I've got a picture of you wearing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me or you, one of us was wearing it. Yeah.
We all wore it, but
yeah.
Neil's trying to push off the blame in case something happened to it. But
yeah.
He's the one. I have photo proof of
Rogan
him.
comes after me.
Yeah, Rogan.
What was that?
Yeah, he said if Rogan goes, doesn't Joe Rogan have that or something?
I'm not sure. I made that piece and gave it to Alora, and I'm not sure where it went after that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Where they gave it to Joe Rogan or they didn't, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But John's been on there at least 2 times. I mean, he's just a real interesting guy, and the whole gold story's great. And just living in Alaska, he's got story after story.
He's the craziest. I've listened to both of those. It's great. How did you get to know? How did y'all get connected? From all the way from Alaska to.
Well, it's sort of a long story. My wife Linda grew up with his brothers and sisters, and then they swam on swim teams, and we swam on swim teams. And it's sort of, Linda used to go over their house. So there's sort of a lifelong connection of the relationship. And then John started bringing stuff over to our shop saying, we've got this really neat stuff and what can you do with it, you know? So that's another whole thing that you could, you'd have to, you know, something you, it's hard to mass produce it. It's more of a one of a kind type pieces.
Yeah.
And that's sort of one of the problems with it is you can't sit there and make 100 of them. So, you know, you have to find something at once where you make the inventory up or the pieces up and then, you know, sell them. So it's a real interesting market. I mean, it's viable.
Yeah. I mean, the look of it has sort of a special look too in the finished. I mean, the bracelet that we saw,
Yeah.
it feels and kind of looks special. And do you protect it with like a resin over top, sort of how they do other inlays, or?
That piece that you have was just polished. The polish is really nice.
Wow.
You take it, really polish it, and you know, it's you know, it's somewhat porous. And I mean, there's a lot of different processes, but the easiest is just the polish is really nice. We just leave it like that.
Yeah. How do you go through I've always wondered, like you talk about materials that are like one of a kind. You know, you like you said, you get a bone and you probably have to go through it and see what parts you can even use of it. And you said it can fall apart on you, and you can't just.
Yeah,
oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
There's fragments of a lot of stuff because you don't want to take a really nice big tusk and chop a piece out of it.
Yeah.
Got it. Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of fragments, and you just go through the fragments and find the nicer pieces, and they have striations. They've got color, depending on the sediment layer that they ended up landing in. You can have all these different colors, and it's just beautiful. It's a fun thing to do.
Yeah. And when you have something like that, I've always sort of wondered, and it's things like that, and like you said, the pearls, and I mean there's a lot of materials. I don't know, meteorite maybe sort of in that that realm or whatever. How do you're a designer and you're also a manufacturer? How do you kind of figure out what you're going to make out of that stuff? Is there a process to that, or like what's that? What you have some mammoth tusk here. How do you get to a finished piece out of that?
Well, basically, you just sort of a lot of those you start working with, and it's going to tell you what to do. You know, it's like the guy that just left Enzo. He's a big sculptor, and he says he calls it making chips. So, but you get in there and it sort of talks to you, and unless you have a predetermined shape that you want to go to, you know, where you have like a bezel that you make, and then you're cutting something to fit that bezel. That's what you're doing. We involved a lot of it with our cable product. It's like we had the cable in the Mariners class.
I want to know more about that too. So, because again, I guess that's what Neil and I have both felt that, and you've got it in some men's stores and things. We've actually talked a little bit about it on another podcast that just me and him did a few weeks ago. I guess that's a good set. Like, what is that? What is that cable like? Like, talk about that project a little bit, the cable stuff.
So, well, the cable line we've been doing for some time. We primarily used to do it in platinum and gold, and it got expensive. We sort of pushed it out of the casual market. Then we got into stainless steels. We do black titanium memory shaped wire, which is really unusual. It's a lot of fun to work with, and it's a good market because it's got that titanium name tied to it. It's forever in. So it's memory shaped metal, so you can heat treat it to any shape you want, and it'll stay in that shape. You can make like like a little spring out of it and pull it back and forth, and then you can heat it to a different temperature and it goes back to a different shape. But we make a lot of necklaces and bracelets out of that. And, we're playing with that pretty heavy right now. Now we're using cores and other materials because it is memory shape. You can put a core in a silver bracelet and get rigidity out of it, where the silver used to be just too soft to deal with. So that's the project that we were working on last year for people that it gives it a whole different personality, and it hits a different market because you don't have to put a hinge in it. You don't have to do that type of thing.
And so they make and this, you said this is titanium is what you're talking about, or like a
Yeah,
titanium.
It's called nitinol. It's a nickel titanium naval ordnance laboratory, and the Navy was looking for a metal to use for a different nose cone for a rocket. This is the story I
Wait a
had.
second.
That's how it started. This guy had these ingots coming out of a heat shrink thing, and he dropped the tray. I guess it got hot or something, and it went ding, 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 thunk, ding, and it goes, why don't we go thunk? And so that it's one of the most flexible metals on the water, but that's how it started. That's so it all started. Now it's major uses in biocompatible surgical instruments, heart stents. Because once you shape it, it stays in that shape. So the hearts, so they'd feed in there and they'd pull it, retract it out. It would just open it up inside. But we're doing a jewelry line with it, with the cable. We're doing cable and gold and with the marriage. It's a fun metal to work with. You have to have, you have the heat treated. You have to have different fixtures to get the right shapes or the right sizes. But
so in about 10 seconds,
I found it. I was up in a facility up in New Jersey, I think, and we were doing another cable project. And I was walking along, a guy had his door cracked, and there was a spool sitting on the counter, and I stopped and looked at that and go, what's that? Say, oh, that's a trick metal. I said, oh. So we started playing with it. And he's in the jewelry industry. So the first time we had it, it came in on a spool. And they charged me like $6,000 to do this.
Oh.
And it came in on a spool, and we undid this wire, and it wasn't treated. It was just, and it just,
my God.
Then I looked at my buddy. I said, well, I hope you had fun. I said, we just $1,000.
Yeah. Wow. Wait, so it just, what did it just explode? Like explode?
It was in a cable shape, and it just undid itself into a bunch of wires, and it was like the whole.
Oh my God!
I'm looking at it going like, that wasn't good.
No. Did you salve it? Were you able to? Did you twist it back up? No.
We kept it on the shelf until we got tired of looking at it.
Oh wow!
Like $6,000. So there was, all these fun things like this. There's a learning curve to do it, and you really have to be pretty tenacious to get in there and do these things. We used to do the black titanium for all that, the Triton line that Goldman had, the little black cable wedding rings. We did all that. And then
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
We did a lot of stuff for Spectre Corporation that was pretty much specialized in titanium. But we're going to get back into it in a fairly heavy way because it's a neat metal, and it's just something different. It's got a great story to it. It's just a titanium.
And for regular, just to relate this to regular people watching this, what he's talking about with the gold, that's like all of those men's rings that a lot of guys have that have the little wire, like if the black kind of wire in the middle of it, like just sort of through. You're saying, I mean, that's what that is. That kind of spoiled.
That's that. We started that whole thing with. Wow.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think my brother has one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun, So you got little mandrels, and you wrap them around the mandrels and heat treat them, and cut them, and then machine the rings, and then snap them in. So, yeah, and then you do pendants, you do necklaces, but right now the necklaces are great because you can take them and they don't kink. I mean, you can sort of ball them up and they pop right back, and it's a different price point
Wow.
from the retail side of it. That you can have a nice looking necklace that's black with some gold components on it,
Mm.
and but it doesn't cost a fortune because the gold chains are getting so expensive. It's an
Right.
alternative that works real well, and it's black and it contrasts uh, pendants and jewelry color stones and diamonds real well.
Right. That would be pretty cool as a ring too. I mean, I know guys are always. I get asked about it all the time. They're always looking, I mean, both women and guys are always looking for like darker metals. You know, one of the issues with the gold and
Mm-hmm.
it's just not very dark. You know, and then so you have like tungsten, and you have these other metals that are sort of can shatter and things. So that's
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
cool
yeah.
option.
So that's what we're doing with the stainless steel. We're putting the PVD coating, just like an ionic plating. They take an ion off, replace it with. So they're very durable, and we get the multitude of colors.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we were messing with Steve out there, and he was wearing one of the bracelets. It was a
Yes.
blue bracelet, and he goes, "Well," uh, he said, "I said, where's your bracelet?" The next day, he said, "Well, I wear a different outfit. I can't wear the blue bracelet." So it's the whole concept of making the two end caps in the class unscrew, and you can replace the color of the cable. You can put like a different pattern of cable,
Mm.
different colors of PVD. You can put leather, and then that's where we're working on a lot of that right now.
Yeah, and we'll put a picture up here. I've seen them, and I know Neil does with it, and so I mean it's like a really dense wound kind of. It looks like it looks like a bunch of wires just sort of like back and forth over each other, creating like a pretty dense cable as
Yeah,
a
it's
A
yeah,
braided cable.
braided is what I'm trying to yeah.
yeah.
So
So
it's a bunch of those. Um, Small ones, and you bend them all, and like I get what heat and then bends. There's some kind of manufacturing process on that, I guess.
hmm
Yeah, yeah,
and then and what we've done with this is we got the stainless steel. We bring it in a super high uh, tensile strength, and then we have a heat treat program that we do to it to make it to where it stays in a cuff form, but you can still bend it and manipulate it. But
yeah.
there,
You can get it off your wrist and stuff. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So what? Okay, so you've got the braid, which is super cool, and then yeah, talk because I wanted to know about again. I've seen them and I've messed with them. It's a really cool. What's the thing with the Mariners class? And I know you said you're working on some other classes too. That was actually before we started recording, so maybe say that part again.
yeah.
But what's the thing with the Mariners class?
Well, let me just say one thing. That the cable that looks like the braid, we call it Nouveau braid. We have a design patent on it.
Oh,
That
cool.
it's like it's all going back and forth.
Yeah.
Um, and the Mariners class was a project that we've worked on for some time, and it's basically it's like a snap shackle on a boat. It has a pin. You pull the pin, and the arm opens up, and it's one of the easiest, safest clasps out there. And it's I got one. It's where it is. Yeah, so I don't know if yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go. Yeah,
yeah,
nice.
yeah, and it's just got a good look. It fits. It's a unisex product. We get women and men. And it does well. So, you do gold, we do silver, uh, and we do stainless steel. We were doing stainless steel casting, and then we went into a metal injection molding process where they atomize the stainless steel, mix it with a binder, shoot it into a metal mold, just like a plastic injection machine,
Wow.
and then
You're doing it with stainless steel?
mhm. Yeah, and then we put that into or they put it into a vacuum centering furnace, and then the other process we use on it is a binder jet printing. It's the same type of process. You take an atomized stainless steel and lay out a bed, and they put little droplets of binder in it, and then you vacuum out all the little particles, and then put it into a vacuum centering chamber, and it is so remarkably precise. So we do a lot of different things. We go to other industries and see what they're doing, how they do it, and we're trying to bring it. We bring that back into the jewelry industry.
Wow. Wait. So, like, how hot is the? What? How is that? I guess A, how hot is that? And two, how is that process different from like gold, like rare metals, like what we're used to in the jewelry industry, like gold and silver and platinum?
Well, it basically stainless steel melts at a lot higher temperature, and it's just a lot. It's more difficult to cast,
Yeah.
um, and it's a little bit more difficult to finish.
Right.
But it's just a different technique, different technology, and it. We've done just about all the different types of processes between the metal injection molding, the binder jet printing, the casting, uh, and the metal injection would be the preferred way with a die, just like a plastic injected piece. And it has a nice surface, and the binder jet printing is very accurate, but it's got more of a printed surface, like like your solid skate printers and that type of thing that leave a. Then you have to finish through that to get down to the base part of it. And then we do all the little rivets or pressed together rivets. They're all machined out of 316L stainless. So just like in a class, there's 7 machine parts.
Wow. 7 in the class, but you showed, yeah, that Mariners class, there's 7 components.
Yeah, then we do basically precious metal machining. We pioneered out of that. We had a 7-axis CNC. I guess it was like 24 years ago, 25 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And so we were doing that. We were machining all of our end caps, everything out of it. We were moving metal. We'd buy these big rods and they'd ship them in. So you're paying shipping, insurance, and we turned it into a bunch of shavings. So we only use about 7 to 8% of it. And we're shipping the metal back to the refinery. And we said, either we got to put all this in house, and we were right at the stage where we were going to put a continuous caster, the rod breakdown, the straightening, and put a small refinery in just to make a complete closed loop of that. And then something happened in the economy, so we decided to move the machine where the metal was instead of ship. Lost a fortune before. So yeah, we moved the machine, the operator, the whole machine operation, and so it's
So I'm I want to ask, like, these machines. Did you build these machines, or how did these? Because I know you have this like a 7-axis CNC. You have the braiding. The braiding is done by machine. So I just want to talk a little bit about, because we talked about that the other day, how machining and people with that kind of experience have been retiring, and there's not a lot of people around anymore with that kind of who can build these machines and think about these processes and how to make these things happen. But curious to know, like, how do you are you building these machines, or you get is there a company that builds them for you, or how does that work?
Well, the braiding and the cabling machines are basically we wanted something. I mean, there's tubular stranders that are long, but they take a lot of metal to run, especially in gold, to run from one end to the other. So we built some vertical machines that that are more or less like they were the old shoestring braiders. So you can run a lot less material on these machines, a lot less scrap. And so we built cable making machines with, we had this guy, Roger Scherner, that was one of the co-founders of Southwire. He befriended me, and we built this one-off machine, and it was like, well, here's a computer guy. And but there's no instruction book. You know, so we spent a long time trying to figure out how to do that, and we modified it, with different gearing on the side of it, so we could change the you have like one diameter, say 7 wires going up, and you want to put 12 wires on top of that, and so we can control the thicknesses and geometries, and then I've got pictures of these that I'm going to send you. It's fun, and then so you take it from there and you put it on what we call a roper. So you take the strand from the one machine, put it on a roper, and you run one up the center and then 6 on the outside. Is how our machine's set up. Now we do run some cables that we buy in stainless steel because it takes a huge machine because we're running on that super high PSI tensile strength. But they'll have 12 bundles on the outside of them.
Wow.
But, so no, it's fun. It's just like playing, actually. It's like
The concept of, to be honest with you, the concept of, gosh, we need to make these these bracelets. Let's build that sideways one, it doesn't really cut it. Let's just build a vertical missile silo, high tensile strength, gear changing mechanism out of scratch. I mean, I don't even know where. That's crazy. Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Thinking about making a point on the top of it.
Yeah, you need to put some of your titanium wrap on the top. FBI will be over there in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. Anyway, no, we've done this for a long time, and we've dealt with a lot of other companies that are in the cabling business, and early on, say 20 years ago, 25 years ago, it was a lot easier to deal with companies than it is today. I mean, you were dealing with guys that were craftsmen, and they get involved in a process and want to help you. And the same guys now, you call them back up and they got a whole new regime. It's more of a corporate type deal. And they go, oh, we'd be love to make that. We'll make you 100,000 feet of it.
Right.
You go, that's about 120,000 bracelets.
Yeah.
You know,
you don't want 100,000 feet of gold wire or something.
I'd like to build a gold 100,000 feet.
Yeah.
But no, we do the stainless, the gold, the silver, and we do platinum in-house. We just started doing platinum again. The platinum market's great because platinum is, for some reason, is $950 an ounce, and gold's close to $3,000. So we're working on a platinum lines to do that. So the thing about platinum, it just has weight. And when you pick it up, this is really something. It's a piece of jewelry. Yeah. And so we
got Joseph, I sent you the pictures of those platinum bracelets, and we got to put the picture of that up when we edit this. But it feels like $1 million. And those bracelets are there's 4 of them. And they're all kind of different configurations, and there's a single braid and a double braid, but that platinum braid feels heavy and nice, and it's amazing. And those are the ones Guy mentioned, I think, are down in Key West now.
Nice.
Yeah, they're in Blue Marlin Jewelry down in Key West. They're either in Key West or Alvarado, one of the 2 stores, but they're just incredible. And I make one that's a triple link, where it's got the Mariners class and the link section and the Mariners class, and that's off the chart. I mean, it's a beautiful bracelet. It's, you wear it, it feels like something, and when you see it, it looks so. So and we do them in 4.5 mil. We do a lot of them in smaller diameters. We do a lot for men and women with it, because it's just something with a smaller diameter. I've got a lot of women, probably it used to be more women than men that were buying it in the larger diameters, and now it's the men are starting to pick it up, because there's a big market for men's jewelry, and the thing that the stainless steel fills in with that is it's a big look without the expense. You put the gold trims, you go class.
Yeah.
Then you become, more of a price point thing. So you take you all stainless steel and gold, and gold and plat. So it goes right up the ladder.
The stainless steel has the nice, like, you can't really break it kind of thing to it with scratching and.
Yeah, no, it's durable. We heat treat it, and then we electropolish it. It's either shiny or we put a PVD coating on it where it's like we call it black ice. We've got a color, a dark blue, light blue, and I've got some other colors that we play with in smaller numbers. So, but that's a lot of fun because you can mix and match, and that's the whole concept of it.
Where did the idea come from on that? Like, so you've got this. Did it go back to, you had the titanium spool, or what was the inspiration on the design on that? I know you're a designer, like you're designing this stuff, and
well, we've always liked the cable because we were got into cable. We were making all cable. We were making cable for Orphan or America, Stellar, Michael Anthony's. They would send us wire in. We had a redraw, basically line that we built. We had different types of annealers. We had vertical annealers instead of horizontal, and the wire was just great. And then we'd turn it into cable, and then send it back to them on a spool. And so we've always been playing with the cable, and I saw that wire, and I said, "Can we make that in cable?" And he goes, "Well, I don't know why not." But we found out what one of the problems was.
Yeah, we found that.
Yeah. So we conquered that. We came up with a feeding program that made it all sort of homogeneous and stay where it's supposed to be, and then we ended up with 2 different patents on that memory shaped titanium cable into the jewelry industry, but we started it ahead of the curve because gold was only $6 a gram back then. They're looking at it like,
oh God,
it costs as much as gold. I'm going like, well, it's different. We'll just buy the gold. And now it's completely opposite thing, and it's just fun. But then we do the leather, and then the leather we run cable cores, heat-treated cable cores up through the middle of the leather in order to keep it shape and not stretch when it gets wet.
Oh, there is metal. I've seen those too. I felt they're really nice. There's metal in those too.
We put cable through the center of it. Yeah.
Okay.
That takes longer. It's another process, but at the end of the day, it's going to last a lot longer. And that's part of the process with the threaded caps is we were putting leather in there, and the guy's out there fishing. He's out on the ocean. He's swimming in the pool, doing the lawn, and these things, the leather would get beat up, and we'd send them back in, and replacing the leather, and then this way, when it wears out, or you want to change the leather, you just buy that section and go yourself. So
yeah. What? Yeah. And so the Mariner's clasp, it has. I mean, you explained a little bit. It has. Its history's in what did you say? Neil told me the other day. It has some kind of nautical history to it, or something. Or
well, it's like a quick release. It's where you had like 2 lines of pressure, and you can pull this one pin, and the arm opens up, and the lines part. So that was the whole idea, and then we basically made it, and we went through all different iterations with it to get it where it is. And then you had to have the machining because you can't cast these parts. So you had to bring it all up pretty much at the same time where you had the machining aspect of it. So it's a precision metal part.
Yeah.
And they look great. They function great.
Yeah. If I'll reiterate also, I know Neil said this, but if anyone listening to this has not held something like that bracelet in platinum, if someone hasn't held like a nice, bigger piece of jewelry in platinum, it really is something special.
Oh, the bracelets, about 3 ounces.
3 ounces? Oh my gosh!
Between the 18 karat and the platinum, because we use bigger. You can put smaller clasp, but we use the bigger clasp, and it's just more bold looking, you know. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a real statement piece.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, yeah.
But we're going to start doing some of the components, like the Maris class. I'm going to PVD the Maris class in black. There's 18 karat gold components on it with black end caps with 18 karat, you know. So there's a lot of fun you got to have. You know?
Yeah, you can do any with the PVD coating. You theoretically do like any color you want on top, or
Pretty much. I
yeah,
mean, they tweak it. You just have to. It's like a plane. It costs X amount for this plane, and you can either fill up all the seats or one seat. You know, so
yeah,
the 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 economy is you run more parts.
got it.
So,
Yeah,
but we got people that will play with us and do this, but that's completely open. And we've got other class that we're doing. We've got the rescue class, which is a whole search and rescue type thing. It was actually the idea came off of the hook on the helicopter. You know, say you're offshore, you call the Coast Guard, and they drop the hook down there, and they snap you up, and
oh yeah,
just like in the Guardian movie that Kevin Costner did. He's had a
oh yeah,
picture where he was on that little second hook and cut himself loose. Well, that class was the same class we're making now, and then it's selling, and we're going to start promoting it to the search and rescue.
mm.
You know, unfortunately, I'm sure there's a lot of those guys out in California right now.
Well, yeah, that would be yeah. That's
Yes,
crazy. Yeah,
but you get into these guys that have been in the military and search and rescue, and the stories they have are just phenomenal about.
yeah.
You know, and I've got one guy that we just built a rotor chain bracelet. It's like the rotor chain off the old Huey helicopter. That when
Okay.
helicopters used to crash, the guys would go get the rotor chain from the back of it and would make bracelets out of it.
What?
Yeah,
What?
yeah. And they're I don't know where they're coming from, but they're finding me, and we're selling those regularly now, and that's a whole. There's these markets that they're what we call this IM markets. I'm a fisherman. I'm a sailor. I'm a bicyclist. I'm a motorcycle guy. You know, where you find something where people have a passion. And then the latest one we've done is the pickleball.
Yeah.
You know, it's we had customers coming in and tell us about pickleball and this and that, and we're working on pickleball. And it's you know,
What are you doing? What's the ideas on that? Big. I mean, pickleball is the biggest thing right now. I guess. Yeah. That's.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's I think there's like 130 new courts. I think a week being built in the country.
Wow.
A
130.
week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you take it just like you were saying going to the YMCA. They took the whole inside of the YMCA and made a pickleball court.
Yeah. You know, I was telling a guy earlier on the phone that obviously I told you my gym closed down or whatever. We've been looking for a new one, and we ended up going to the YMCA local to me, and I had grown up going there.
Yeah.
And they had several indoor basketball courts when I was growing up. Going there is just what they had indoors. I walked in there to join the other day, and it's all pickleball courts now. It's all been converted.
Yeah.
Yep.
10, 15 indoor pickleball courts. And that's not
That's
counting.
crazy. And they're taking tennis courts all over the place,
Yeah.
converting them.
Yeah.
And they're taking these places. Interesting. They take over a big big spot, a warehouse or something, build 10 or 12 pickleball courts, and then they'll have like a bar section. They'll have a lounge section with a bar,
Yeah.
and people can hang out, and it's like a whole social phenomenon. People just go to the pickleball place and hang out,
Wow.
and everybody can play. That's the nice thing. So people just go there and hanging out with friends, and yeah, it's a nice way to get out.
Yeah, we have a facility here in Jacksonville. It's called the Yard. It's the Sawgrass Marriott in Ponte Vedra, and we've been down there numerous times. We went to a couple of events down there. These charity foundation events. But what you see is the whole family. You know, the
Mm.
mom, the dad's out there, 2 kids are out there, and then they're all going back and forth why they lost or why they won. And they say, "Oh, it's this paddle or that paddle," and so they change paddles and go back out. And so it's turned into a family type thing. It's turned into something where people used to go play golf, say Saturday morning, and then they go eat lunch at the club, and then and that's what it's turned into. You can play as hard or as easy as you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what we've done with Neil is we've basically he's developed a whole line of pickleball. It's got the earrings, we got pendants, we got enameled courts where you can customize the court. Say, okay, I want this color court, or I want that color court. Like people are building these pickleball courts in their backyard because they're not that big. You take a nice size backyard, and you can have a pickleball court instead of a bunch of And then we're going in there and putting diamonds in all these pieces. I mean, we got some just huge, nice pickleball. We took the courts, put diamonds around the court frames.
Wow.
You can have stones, you can have diamonds, and then Neil cut all these emerald cut stones, princess cuts down the middle with diamond frames. I mean, it goes, it goes down from probably about $150 range up to $13,000. So and then we can custom build whatever. Neil's got that capability.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the and so that there's that's another one of those IM things, and it's a huge market. It's still in its infancy. It's not really organized as well as tennis is, but it's getting there quick.
I'll just tell you. I'll just go ahead and I'll put this out here. I played tennis for a long time, and so us tennis guys, anyone watching this, us tennis guys will unite on this. I'm happy for you guys. But happy for you guys. Yeah. But us tennis guys, look at all our tennis courts being converted to pickleball courts, and we're a little like, all right, I'm not so sure about it, but yeah, but I will admit it is the fact, and I appreciate that, like, as tennis players get older, they can't always do the whole thing, running back and forth and all that. It's nice in that sense too, but
yeah, well, I guess what's happening is
you should make I am a tennis player line of jewelry and try to.
All right, Neil. Yeah, I'm gonna make it competitive. Yeah, I'm gonna make it.
Yeah. So what we're doing, and it would fall right into that whole thing because see, a lot of the tennis clubs are having by pressure to turn it into tennis and pickleball, and so to have a tennis line and a pickleball line, then everybody's happy.
I guess. Yeah, everyone's happy. Yeah, I guess I'm happy for you guys. Yeah.
I've got a friend who's a super hardcore tennis player, and he just badmouths pickleball every time I see him.
Me too. I'm telling you, listen, I'm going to make this statement right now on air. I'm going to make this statement. Pickleball, people talk about pickleball and tennis. I'm going to make this aggressive statement right now. Pickleball is closer to ping pong.
Wow, you're about to get canceled.
I'm about to get canceled. I'm telling you, I'm
a good run on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna. We're gonna have to cut all this out. I've offended all pickleball, the number one growing sport in the world.
Yeah. Well, we had to offend somebody on.
Yeah, you guys are playing big ping pong, not little tennis.
Yeah.
Official statement.
Well, I sort of thought that too. I thought, well, tennis, running around more and this and that. But I've been to a couple of these fundraisers where they've got some pretty competitive pickleball players, and there's nothing slow about it. I mean, you can whip that ball. It's a cross between that
spin they get on it's pretty crazy. I've got some friends.
Oh,
I'm halfway kidding. We've got a bunch of that stuff going on and around, and I've played it a couple times. It actually is really fun. And I've got a friend who's like pretty good, and I played a lot of tennis, and this guy never played tennis. He's just a pickleball guy or whatever. And I thought, come on, I'm gonna destroy this dude. Like it's not even gonna be close. He destroyed me. The spin that you get on the ball. I mean, the way you, yeah,
that's why, these pickleball stores is working with a lot of pickleball stores and pickleball people.
yeah,
Is because they do play hard. There's all these different rackets. There's all the different shoes.
yeah,
It's just like tennis, except it's another genre.
yeah. That's true. It's just like ping pong. You're right.
It's like ping pong steroids.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that ball can come whipping at you. I mean, you're so close to everybody.
I know.
At a long distance, you can, somebody's 6 feet away, you beat them in the head with a pickleball.
Yeah, you just yeah.
You don't have to. I've got a friend that works at the pickleball store,
Hmm.
and he's not a small guy, but he's been playing pickleball his whole life, and he gets all these people out there, the athlete guys, and he beats them to death, and they can't stand it.
He's just like a wall up there at the front, kind of just hitting it back. Yeah.
But that's a market, we're introducing the cable into that market. There's a men's market there.
Yeah.
I'm doing projects right now that have like a bridge in the center, and it's got a cutout of the court, in a little line around it, and it's like they have these shirts now that says or you don't know or So
that's fun. Yeah.
I'm making these bracelets right now with silver bridges in them for the guys at the pickleball store. So there's a men's market that's out there.
What do you mean when you say bridge? What's that?
It's got like it's like a bridge piece, and what we can do, see this, the cable, you can go in to put these bridges in there. You can go into all kinds of corporate stuff. You can put your dog paw, you can put scenes on them, you can laser engrave all this stuff and then put background. I mean, it's wide open, but the pickleball piece, where we can see it.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Hey, Joseph, we got some jewelry on this podcast.
Oh my gosh! Everyone watching jumping up for now.
It's jewelry make us pay.
That was real of it. I just wanted to get out of concept. The big guy I was talking about, James, probably one of the most knowledgeable guys that I've seen around with pickleball, and he builds pickleball courts. But he's a big boy, and so 4.5 millimeter ain't quite big enough. We're making the big 6.5 millimeter doubles. In the original, which is it'll be
cool.
no doubt for him. Yeah, that's but he's awesome about that. But and then we run the Mariners class. You can get them with or without the Mariners class.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole concept is, we're really into pickleball. There's people out there making pickleball products, but what we have is going to be the most inclusive line. It's going to jump between boundaries. You put the enamel in there. We put the diamonds in there.
Yeah.
Cable. So it's a lot of fun. It's another great IM thing, and it's like it's going crazy. And I guess the tennis players aren't playing enough tennis. That's why they're taking their courts.
Whoa. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Whoa.
You ping pong.
It's true. Trust me, I've been at every city council meeting ever about our tennis courts, and that's exactly what they say, Guy. You're exactly right. Hey, if you guys want to keep these tennis courts, why don't you play some tennis?
Play some tennis, yeah.
Why don't you play some tennis? Yeah. I'm like, no, I don't want to play tennis. I just want to know they're there.
There you go.
Yeah. I just want to
plan.
Yeah, I just want to plan to play on Saturday and then cancel Friday night or whatever. Yeah, that's.
It's like we do swivel bracelets for the boaters, the guys that fish, and the swivel, goes from your rod, the line on the reel. You tie it off the other, you tie it onto the leader because the bait will spin, and the swivel keeps the line from spinning. We do swivel bracelets in diamonds, stainless steel. We did some black titanium,
Wow.
which
That's
real hard to get. My buddies have built all a lot of the product for Tiffany's. They're black titanium made it for us, and they told me they don't. It took like to get one link, we had to make 5, and there's like 40 links on here.
Oh my gosh! Wait, why? What's the process on that? Why? How come that's difficult?
It's a metal that you have to run through a heat treating process, and it's a shell on it, a black shell.
Got
And
it. And
you
that,
get, depending on the surfaces, this has lines. Rings are nice because they're nice and round. This has more lines and contours, and it creates problems.
right.
But
To getting the evenness of the black, like the coating on it or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
But that's like guys with boats. I look at it. That's a nice boat. I see. Do you ever use it?
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
really. Yeah,
That's the tennis courts of the living on the coast, I guess. Is they've got these boats. So I'm not sure if they use it. What are the boats going to get converted to? I don't know.
See, that's a nice business to get into. Is we've already got the swivels, we've got the cable, and there's this whole marine market that really hasn't been tapped.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to make gold swivels and all this gold for that market, and then it got expensive, so it slowed up, and so people quit. And quite frankly, the guys that were making all this stuff are either out of business or they're died. I mean, that's the problem we're seeing in this industry is, a lot of the people that had the technologies and this and that, they're getting to an age and their sons got, their daughters got, we don't want to do that, know.
Yeah.
So
That's really interesting. We were talking about that the other day, but I was listening to a podcast, and just incidentally, the aerospace industry has the same problem, and I think probably like the auto industry has the same problem, and like machining experts or manufacturing experts that in America it's thinned out a lot, and so you have people that just it's limited not only to manufacturing but then also the creativity that comes from that in doing making up new things like this. And it's interesting. It's interesting that we as an industry experience that trend also. I was listening to this podcast and I'm like, oh, that's interesting that like aerospace is dealing with the same stuff that we're dealing with.
Yeah. It's real in our industry. I mean, is like an independent jewelry stores and big jewelry stores and jewelers. I guess I'm speaking to jewelers, not even manufacturing and stuff, but just straight up jewelers.
Yeah, just jewelry.
I mean, you're not seeing anyone carving their own waxes much anymore. There's a few, but
you carve a wax and they go, what's that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
who wants to?
3D levers.
Yeah.
And we grow it all, but there's certain things that carving a wax is you can get into and do it faster, do more detail quicker than drawing it and doing it.
Right.
So that's how I got into this industry. I started off free diving and spearfishing in Key West with a group of dentists. So I went to his. He had a dental lab thing, and I started working with him in his dental lab and got the dental lab process. So I did that, and I started playing with these dental impression material. I take those sand dollars and make sand dollars, and I sold 60 of them in about 3 weeks. I said, I'm going into the jewelry business.
Yeah, wrong. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wait, so you took like dentist tools and made like sand dollar things, or
like the material that they take like the impression with.
Oh, yeah.
The impression material, and then but the dental. I jumped from that, got into the jewelry reel industry because I'd cast and finished my, since I was young, and then it was a real easy transition. So I went to work for a jewelry store just to figure out how to, start the concept of stone setting and all that. But at that time, it was a medical business, so they put more time, energy, and money into developing better investments, develop better techniques, and they were in the jewelry industry. We carried a lot of that over into the jewelry side.
Wait, so how did you learn casting and finishing, and then how did you learn all the machine making?
Well, the machining part, I've always grown up around machines. We had a machine we had lathes in my old lathes in our garage, and my dad used to build steam engines, and he taught me how to use the lathe. I built a real steam engine that worked, I think, when I was in 7th or 8th grade. It looked like I was in the 7th or 8th grade. It made it, but the thing really worked. So it was, so we got into that. And my uncle was in the aerosol business. So I'd go up there in the summertime and visit him. And he had plastic injection. I mean, this is back when I was like junior high school. And he had plastic injection molding machines. He was a pioneer in the aerosol business. He invented the metered aerosol valve, like you see that barber shaving cream.
Yeah,
that's the valve that he had in his garage. He was working on back in when I was in the 7th or 8th grade. So wow. I've been around a lot. And then we had bought a Citizen M20, which was like 7-axis CNC Swiss, and started machining precious metals on it. We actually had the guy from Japan come over. He was in the States and came down to see us machine precious metal on this thing. And it also really, we put this couple $100,000 machine in the garage. We started. I had a backyard. I had a Harding's machine. I had a Citizen machine. I had stranding machines. I had a full plating module, bobbing boost. And, I had like a garage. I built it 10 feet this way, 10 feet that way. So then we got stuck back there one year. And when we first started doing the gold, it took off. And I ended up having like probably 10, 12 employees back there. We park them all in the church. I had a big van, go down and get them, and we all go in the backyard.
Wow. That's incredible.
Then it was a lot. We did a lot of money. We did like $2.4 million in the backyard.
Oh my gosh!
That's
some Steve Robert story stuff. You didn't even have the garage. You're just in the backyard.
Yeah. You got to the point where there was so much metal back there, it was just a bad situation,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I had an upstairs dog. I had a downstairs dog.
Oh, no.
I had an outside dog. So it got to be where it got out of line. And we needed to move out, but we got stuck there that one year because we couldn't move. We had so many orders. We just stayed there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's probably the best visual ever. Just workers parking at the church, bussing them into the backyard, just cranking out metal. What were you making at that time? What was it that you made in there?
Gold cable.
The gold cable. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we were doing flat braids. We were doing gold cable of all different sizes. We were doing the swivel necklaces and bracelets.
Is this finished jewelry, or you were supplied?
And it's all finished jewelry.
Yeah.
Oh, we were casting. We were casting probably 700 units a day in the backyard. It was a nice little operation. Then I started the room, and I set up with this chemical engineer. We set up a refinery because we were hand finishing all this stuff. I know what the stuff weighed when it comes in. I know what it weighs when it goes out. I had to be in that dust.
Yeah,
and so we set up and then they go, oh no, there's not much there. I'm going, yes, sir. We set up a refinery, and we had big caustic soda scrubbers and all this, and it was something.
What? Wait a minute. So to get the gold out of the stuff just on the ground, the dust, and you set up a
Yeah. Oh,
refinery
yeah.
in your backyard?
Yeah. You take it out of the bench, you put it in a bag, and you send it to a refinery, and you don't know how much is in there.
Yeah.
It's just got all kinds of other rubber wheel stuff in it.
Right.
So we got like 2.5 times return by
Oh
doing our,
my god.
and it was a lot of fun. I
That's
guess the
like
funny,
free money. That's like finding a $10 bill in your couch or something.
yeah. So, then what happened was we had a disgruntled employee that turned us into everybody in the city. Linda calls me up and says, we got about 7 cars in our front yard.
Oh my gosh.
You said we were dumping acid on the ground. And so this guy comes back there. They had like 5 or 6, and they had these big flats out looking at the property line and all this. And they had this guy comes in, and I got 4 guys sitting on the bench with torches. They got a guy on the torch with a flame casting on the back. And then I got this machine spinning, and
Wow.
he's going, this is way out of line. He's telling everybody to stop, but my buddy was in the state's attorney's office and said, it'll be 3 months before they can do anything. He said, I'm going to get out of there as soon as Christmas comes. He said, well, they'll be all over by that time.
Wow.
So when he went over there and had his hand on that doorknob where the refinery little section was,
yeah,
and he looked at me, and I'm thinking to myself, well, this is going to break the camel's back. He goes, well, what's in there? I go,
no.
Just more of the same.
Just more of the same, yeah. Open it up, it's like 3 times the size.
He turned around, he was jumping up and down, telling everybody to stop, and I was telling him not to stop, and he got all pissed off at me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. I ran into this guy somewhere. His son had a little tech business, fix phones and stuff. So I'm in there, and he walks in, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's my dad," and he's looking at me like,
no.
You're somewhere. He's your biggest nemesis.
Yeah. You almost blew up the town. You're like the guy. Any given day, the town might blow up because of whatever you're doing in your backyard.
It was a lot of fun. I got to find the pictures of that because it was quite something. And then we got into a bigger space. We got a 10,000 square foot building and put in big ultrasonic. We did it all right and had our own wire drawing. It was some really nice wire. We made our own cable, and we had other people sending us wire to make cable for them and make finished products. And, it ran for long. We were making these little, I don't remember if you remember the micro cables. They were like 1 gram cable. And it was back in gold, it was like $6 a gram. And they were selling in like Kmart's, Walmart's, fast food. I stayed out of it because I said, this is a piece of junk.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
This guy grabbed me by the arm one day and says, Guy, they throw them away. And so we were making like, 30, 40,000 of those cables and whatnot. I had all these guys sitting there. These guys are all high school.
Month?
Yeah. I mean,
wow.
we could, yeah. And they, I called them the squirrels because they they come and go, and they had these little presses, and we made these little things that looked like electrical connectors. We made them wire and crimped them, and it was good. And then what happened was we were doing the bombing and all that, the whole process, and the guy said, well, we can save money. We're going to send it down to our factory in Mexico, and we're going to bomb it down there. I said, you got to be kidding me, because the water quality, you have to have, we had big, water treatment systems to treat the water before we ran them through these processes. And they sent it down the first time and created about 25,000 units of scrap. And so
wow.
So they called me up and said, what can we do? I said, well, melt it.
Melt it down, yeah. Wait, so they sent all that stuff down there, and they just basically ruined 25,000 units of product or whatever?
Yeah.
First go? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They were saying, don't do that. But, you don't know till you know. Because like me, I'm doing my cable. He went, I said, I don't need to do that no more. You know?
Right. Wow. So wait, you're saying the reason that happened? You're saying something about the water quality whenever you're
Yeah.
what's the water quality have to do? What's that?
Well, when you're doing chemical process,
Mm.
we basically had, cations, anions, carbon scrubbers. And so it's lab pure water. So you have other elements
Right.
in the water, and it's going to make this chemical reaction react
Right.
differently. That's what
Gotcha.
it is. And then, especially we were plating them afterwards. And then, so it was a mess.
Wow.
And then,
What is the cleaning regiment on? I mean, is it? I mean, you're saying this is in your backyard. I mean, I know you moved into a really nice facility too, but is there like the upkeep and I mean, I'm just imagining this running like some like Michelin star restaurant where you're scrubbing down every surface each night and stuff to keep it non-contaminated. Is that a thing, or is it more like a factory? Like,
it starts off in one place, and we ended up with about a 10,000 square foot factory, and it had all white epoxy floors, white walls, and machines. It was beautiful.
hmm.
It was like but we start off bombing in the sink. We get Pyrex thing. You go like let's so
Wow.
but
Yeah.
yeah. So it's we've seen just about every mess up you can do
Right.
with making cable, and that's why people used to send us their wire and just let us make it for them.
Yeah, because you know what to. Yeah. Right.
But I've gotten 3 calls this last week for people looking for gold cable again, like the big heavy pieces. So
And when you we're a little far into this for me to ask this question, so I'm going to sound dumb probably. But when you're saying gold cable, I mean, what is that ending up? Is that like a chain? If I have a rope chain, is that what you're talking about, or what are you actually talking about with the gold wire?
it's a gold it's a piece of gold wire,
Yeah,
just like
just thin,
you
right?
make it thin, or I can go up to about 9-10 millimeters with it.
No, it's gold wire braided together.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
it's similar to the similar look or whatever to the bracelets we were talking about earlier. How they're
Yeah.
kind of not really, but kind of in that relation. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Got
you can make them thick wires. I mean, we made some machines that made a lot of the Yerman wire,
Uh,
all that big silver. Uh, we that's what we're good at. Here's a
you made the machines for the Yerman cable.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
the David Yerman stuff. Oh yeah, sure. I know. Okay, I see that. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, made for another company, and they bought it, and I was, and so no, they had stacks of stuff. I went up there. They wanted me to check the machine and do a different process with it. So, but no, I'll send you just a little clip of the cable coming out of it. Yeah, he'd probably get mad at me for sending the picture of the whole machine. But it's big. It's probably about 20 feet long because that cable's, because it's hollow. And you have to, the way we were doing it, normally the way they did it, they made it in 10-foot, 12-foot lengths. And we made a machine you can load it and start it, and it would turn itself off. It would make 1,000 feet of cable and collect on a big spool. So all that labor disappeared, and the consistency was a lot better because you didn't have starts, you didn't have stops. But
Right.
that's what we play with.
But that cable is hollow.
It's hollow, or you can put a core in it.
How long is it?
Well, you can run 1,000 feet on that one machine. I mean, that's
Wow.
Uh,
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. And so we've done some machines for some other
and
people.
I think you can make it thicker, thinner, and you can make it smooth, right? You can make it braided or smooth.
Yeah. It's you get by the outer shell depends on the geometry of the wire. Like the braided has 3 strands twisted together. It gives it that bumpy look. And you take those 6 on the outside, 1 on the center, and it creates that nouveau braid pattern. and so you can make it the more
How do
cables
you make it? How do you make it smooth?
you basically have like the live wire that we do, like like the smooth cable deal that we're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
It has more bundles of wire on the outside. So the more bundles, the smoother it gets. It's like
Oh,
non
okay, okay.
yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's been a big long learning curve, but it's something that is doing real well now because somebody wants a man wants bracelet like man's bracelet. It's you look at gold, it's expen- they're expensive. And then there's a lot of people out there that will buy these, but the majority, want something like a stainless steel with gold.
Yeah.
Well, it's still not all that inexpensive, but it's a lot better than the solid gold.
Yeah.
But and that's what I've got two requests right now. I got one that we're fixing. We've been making these things for 25, going on 30 years, and they wear out. People sitting there writing,
Yeah.
doing this and that every day. The cables will work, and they call up and say, I got this cable at one of your stores that you're selling up in New England," and they go, I think I want to get it replaced. I said, "Well, you better sit down."
Yeah.
I've been a $400 gold. Now it's like 3,000.
Oh
I go,
yeah. Oh, they've got the old. Yeah,
so,
yeah. They're
so
like, this is gonna be $80, right?
well, I go, oh, I've been 5,000.
Yeah.
You're buying for 1,000, it's like 5,000 now.
Oh no. Yeah.
Better buckle up.
Yeah.
Uh,
Buckle up. Oh,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
but there's, and then the thing too is we make strand. It's lighter weight. It's like cable, and I can run cores up the center of that. And that's what we were playing with last year with 2 or 3 different companies is running that memory shaped metal up the center of it, runs stainless steel up the center of it. And a lot of that is like those flexible bangles that you see now. A lot of that is they're using memory shaped titanium in that. So but it's fun.
Guy, I'm gonna send you my pans down there, and I want them PVD coated black or something cool. Because all my kitchen pan, they make pans the same way. They have the
Oh yeah, all your titanium pans.
well, yeah, they're and so what I've been buying, they have a couple, brands that people are familiar, Allclad or whatever, and they do that stainless steel with the aluminum. But the upgraded option, there's a company called Heritage Steel that makes them in Clarksville, Tennessee, and they have like a 5-ply, like it's so 5 layers. It's stainless steel and titanium in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we got to PVD coat those, man. We got to get those.
Oh, that's how they used to have a lot of titanium cookware.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually aluminum, and they put a PVD coating, titanium coating on the outside of it. And they're like a little pan was like $400 or $500.
Well, they're same as the gold sit down for the price because they still sort of have those, and they are more than that. So yeah, they're pretty up there. Yeah.
So, but the pickleball thing, go back to that. It's an interesting market because it is expanding, and it's a reason for somebody to buy. And what's funny is I had a lady in the other day that looking at the big diamond piece and she didn't know what it was. And she goes, "Oh, that's just stunning." I just got back from Paris and didn't see anything that luxurious in any of the jewelry stores there.
Wow.
It's just like that girl that bought that black swivel necklace had no clue what it was. She just liked the black titanium.
Just liked how it looked. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm a really big fan of the IM lines that you're doing because Neil, I mean, we were just talking about this last one we did, and I mean the concept that you have behind that jewelry in a more meaningful way, right? It's sort of representative of like your passions and hobbies and stuff.
mm-hmm.
I mean, that's to Neil and I. I mean, that's what jewelry is. You're so on the track as far as how we feel about it too.
Yeah,
That's sort of the whole point of this podcast is to promote that concept and that way of thinking that jewelry should mean that something to somebody.
It's meaningful, right? It makes it meaningful. It's got started off our conversation with these pearls from this shipwreck, and as I think Guy said, it's got a great story. That's what makes it. Yeah, it's a pearl. It's been at the bottom of the ocean. That's what gives it its value.
Right.
How are you going to beat that?
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and and it's the
And
when
tusk and
you're a
all.
basic extension of your personality, you're saying something about yourself. And we try to make things that if you don't like the swivel bracelet, if you don't know that's a swivel bracelet, it's just a nice bracelet.
Right.
But some faces will know, oh, I got somebody like a kindred spirit, and then so that's it's and the whole thing is it's basically making people happy. I think what was it? It was P.T. Barnum. What did he say? He says the noblest act. Yeah, the noblest art is that of making people happy.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's what we try. And when people get the stuff, they're happy about it. So it's really what's fun about the jewelry business. It's sort of a celebration type thing. It's a memory type thing. It's I am a sailor. I'm a whatever.
Right.
And that from what we're doing, it goes on and on. I'm a mountain climber. I'm a hiker. One of the bracelets that we're doing with you saw those lanyard lines. You like that there's like a mountain, rock climbing line. It's a halyard. And so we want to do a carabiner, a different type of carabiner, but we're going to call it the adventure class.
Yeah.
And it has
really
even, and then we have the release class. But that's what's fun is coming up with things that people haven't seen before, and they have a story.
Right.
And you know where the market is, you know how to get to the market, and that's what's fun.
How do you start kind of the process as far as design goes? I mean, where do these ideas come from? I mean, it just happens? You just kind of think of it, you're like, that'd be cool, and then you start. I mean, I'm just thinking back to all this wire. I mean, this is like serious equipment and testing and stuff for some of this stuff and all the pickleball stuff. And I mean, where does that inspiration come from a lot of times?
Well, that's one of the things that I can look at something and come up with ideas of what to make things, but a lot of it just comes out of the ether, and it's like, it's like
how Rick Rubin of you.
I'm like, oh wow, we could do that.
Yeah,
we could do that. So and that's the part of what that I see is it's so exciting now because there are these different technologies. There's different ways to make things. There's different products that we can make, and there's just a lot of creativity and creating new things that fit these marketplaces.
Right.
You got, even like the diving markets. There's diving stuff. There's camping. I mean, it's mountain climbing, tennis. That's not much of a stretch away from the pickleball.
Well, it's completely different, but the ping pong, it's completely different. Yeah, that's funny.
I was just thinking of Rick Rubin, incidentally, Joseph, and I think it was on his podcast. He said one time that you have these conversations. You know a person for a while, but you sit down to do a talk like this, and you learn so much about them that you wouldn't otherwise learn, or you haven't. You know somebody for years. I've been talking to a guy for a year and a half now, and so I know about half of this stuff, but there's another half of the stuff that I'm learning now, which is such an interesting medium to have conversations like this.
Yeah.
No, this is fun. This is what I like to do. And you know, I like to be around people that it's a nice cat.
Sorry, Calvin.
Yeah.
Calvin, we
Oh,
do have a fourth guest on the show. It's my
Yeah.
cat,
yeah,
Calvin.
the big one.
Uh-oh, don't let him hear. Hang on a second. Yeah, don't let him hear that. The vet called him cob-like the other day. Cob, like a corn on the cob. And he's
Oh,
he has not been happy since.
oh,
That's not. It's like walking into your doctor and they're like, God, I mean, man, that guy is a wall or something. Yeah, here he's come back. So here he is.
there you go. Look at that.
Yeah, we're twins. You can see we have the same color hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, we look identical. So
No, I don't think that cat gets enough attention. This,
I'm here. I don't know what he's going to come back up here in a second. So he gets all the attention in the world. Don't let him hear that. Don't think there's anything else he needs. He's yeah.
yeah. That's the fun thing is just talking about possibilities of things to do. I mean, the jewelry industry is in somewhat of a problem right now with the diamonds. You know, the lab growns are coming in. You might say, it used to be like, oh, I'm going to sell a 3-carat diamond. Well, that was a big deal. You know, that was nice. Now you sell 3-carat lab grown. You're going like, well, the mounting costs a lot. It used to be you gave the mounting away and sold the diamond. Now you give the diamond away and sell the mounting.
It is, yeah. I was just telling Neil too. I mean, we were talking about this. I totally agree. It used to be, you know, on my side of things, I get a report, see what was sold in the area and stuff, you know, every night. And if I saw like a 3-carat, and I don't want to take away from the fact that the stones are still special regardless of the value like that, but just talking of like how things have changed in the industry monetarily. You're right. It used to be like, oh my gosh, you know, someone bought even a 1-carat stone or something, a 2-carat, anything above that was like, wow, that's awesome. You know, I might call them and be like, what? Tell me what happened on that. How'd you sell a 3-carat? Like, that's pretty cool. And now I see a 4-carat stone, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's like yeah.
Well, you know, and it's now it's in the art of making the mountings like what you guys do.
Yeah.
You know, it's where and it's actually, you know, it's that's where you can, you know, some of the stuff that we have made with Neil and Shaw is just, you know, outrageous. I don't know how they do it. You know, all the little stones and everything's nice and perfectly straight, and you're going like, that's tough. Yeah. Somebody had to be doing this a long time. So,
and one thing we're seeing too is, I mean, like I told you, I read that email. You know, the first thing we talked about as soon as we started this thing was, you got any ideas on a mustard seed? We had a customer email me right before we started, and customer has a sentimental mustard seed that they want. And they want to be able to magnify, you know, they want it in a pendant and they want to see it big. And it's like, okay, you guys, that's what I care about. I care about this mustard seed. Diamond doesn't matter. I mean, sapphire doesn't matter. This is what matters to me. And I want it, but people still relate that stuff to, they still understand that is the best kind of medium for that thing that they care about. And so we're getting this more and more, you know, less diamonds and more. I'll just say it's weird stuff, crazy stuff, you know, that you wouldn't think about a mustard seed, and we need to turn that into jewelry now. And that's what it's really about. And I would argue that's more fun, not for Neil, because good luck, but it's more fun for all of us. So I think it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
it's different. And I think it relates to what you were saying. Just the materials earlier. It's more of these one-off things, and you know, you've got like the mammoth tusk, and I'm sure there's a lot of the pearls, and I'm sure there's a lot of other materials kind of like that you run into. What do you guys get some interesting materials from customers? People can walk into your store, right? Like you have a store.
Yeah, I'll send you pictures of it. A lady, her husband comes in, and he's got this little twig part that's get broken on either end. He goes, well, I want you to make a pendant out of this for me. I said, really? He goes, yeah, I was supposed to buy my wife a log cabin. Well, 30 years ago, so I'm going to give her a log.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's
and so Yeah, it turned out, but it's stuff like that. And that goes back to old school waxes. And it's like a ball poured the wax in there, poured it out. And it had like a shelf, it was a hollow in the inside because it had where the had like a branch coming on. We cut it and put the 60th, for the 60-year anniversary, put a little emerald in it. And,
Wow.
But that's a pretty strange. We walked in there and they're looking at him. I know exactly what to do with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's pretty. Yeah.
Well, it's like, they built two penguins for my brother the other day. He had a little gold penguin, a bigger one, a little one. They wanted to put a pearl and a
Oh yeah,
lapis.
I heard about the penguins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just something off the wall.
Wow. We had
And that's what we do in our stores. We do. If you want it done, we'll figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
What do you do? What would you say? One thing we like to do is talk about some of the wild stuff that you see in the jewelry industry. So, what would you say? Maybe some of the wildest pieces you've ever worked on or seen, and that could be wildly, wildly valuable or wild, just odd, interesting stories,
Was
or where it came from. There's a story behind it, or whatever
yeah.
that may be. Yeah.
Hang on one second. What was it?
The different claws.
Oh, yeah. That's some of the craziest things we've worked on is claws and teeth and bones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get guys back when everybody used to go to Africa and hunt. They bring back all kinds of weird things.
Yeah.
You make something out of this, like elk. We'd make elk teeth, the little buttons, and
Yep.
it's all interesting. But we've made some big pieces. Jimmy just got finished with a piece that I can send you pictures. It's about that big. It's all different color stones, and so just a huge piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a customer. So
What is what's is it like a necklace or what or
it's a big bracelet. It's
bracelet.
about that wide. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll send you some pictures of that. That's a stunning piece.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do a lot of different pieces.
Mm.
Trying to think of what else would be. We've done so many crazy things.
Yeah.
While you're thinking, I'll tell you. Related to your penguin thing, something we just did with a jewelry store in Atlanta is a similar thing. We got this request. Neil, you remember the green frog?
Yeah.
Oh,
did it go through?
Yeah.
We made it. Wow.
Yeah, it was a green gold, which was not fun, and just about what did it weigh? 70 grams, I think.
Yeah, 60 or 70
60
grams.
or 70 grams. Just a little gold frog with rubies. It had rubies in the eyes and, emeralds and things all over its back and stuff. It was a paperweight is what it was going to be. Yeah. So it's...
Well, Linda's got a little gold lizard sitting on her computer.
Oh, that's cool. Apparently, I didn't know this. Apparently, the animal stuff is a big thing. People love that.
Animals are a huge thing. That's another whole area. The pets, that's a market that has been really tapped into, just like with your cat.
Yeah, right.
It's like
that's right.
You come up with something that you relate to.
Yeah, that cat needs some jewelry, Joseph.
Shh, he's sitting right there. Be quiet, Neil. No, he doesn't.
Calvin, yeah.
Calvin, no, he doesn't. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to make gold and diamond necklaces for show dogs.
Wow, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. Yeah. We were just talking about something the horse like the show horse. I can't remember that. Yeah, equestrian style. There's a really specific names for a lot of the things that go on their faces and.
I've got. We were in the middle of an equestrian project. We had just created a basic line, and we took it down to what was it? It's in Palm Beach where they have the
Well,
Wellington, and they got like a 12-week show down there. They bring horses in from all over the world.
Wow.
So they get horses in and do all the, and so we were working with a girl that had a jewelry store inside the VIP area, which was all air conditioned. They had food. And it was a perfect situation. And I came home and bought a little car, a little Hyundai Santa Fe to build a showcase in, and for girls to go around to the equestrian shows.
Wow.
3 days after we bought the car, they canceled every horse show in the country.
Oh no! Oh, the COVID, right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then all the vendors. I was working in there was some of it in China, some of it in Thailand, a lot of it in Thailand. They all went out of business.
Wow.
And they had all my molds. They had all the computer. They had all the CAD.
Right.
They had that and plus a bunch of other stuff. And then my partner had a 1,200-acre horse farm up in Georgia. He ended up dying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he just got up, fell over dead, and it's like
The whole industry collapsed in 2 to 3 days.
yeah. Well, it was that whole stainless steel side. I mean, we lost that whole manufacturing side of this business because
Right.
you just can't get it done here in the States.
Right.
You can get it done, but you're going to pay a lot of money for it. And I even paid a lot of money for it and wasn't getting the quality castings that I was getting. So we went into that binder jet printing and spending more money for it. But it's a beautiful part, but it's got like a casing on it. It's like a printed part will have like the little layers. And
Yeah.
then you got it in stainless is harder to finish.
Right.
But that set us back quite a bit. We've got it all back up and running now. We've got the girl that there was a manager of the company. He had to be with Spectre a long time ago, so I knew him real well. And there was a girl, Shawana, she ran the company. She knew all the employees. She would get back there and get them all. And so she started her own shop. And so we're back. We're getting stainless steel castings, just stainless steel finishing, back to where it flows again. So that took some time.
Wow.
But it's exciting, And we'll have to come up with some tennis stuff.
Yeah, man.
Just to,
we need
just to make them happy.
We need some tennis stuff. Yeah, I'm not pleased right now. Yeah, we need some tennis stuff. Yeah, we need a real sport on your thing.
Well, we just went to this thing last weekend, and it was like a Bed Bath & Beyond that went out of business.
Yeah.
And these guys went in there and gutted the whole thing and put like 16 pickleball courts in it.
Wow.
And they're buying them. I think they either got 40 or 60 of them now, and they're buying them all over the country.
Oh,
so like Neil's probably buying the tennis places.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I will admit, or I'll say that the Y they converted. I told you they converted the indoor, and they also converted the tennis courts outside. They're packed 24/7. There's a line, and my parents used to tell me. I mean, that's how tennis was back in like the 80s and 90s in our area, near Chattanooga. It was like that. You would get to the tennis courts early, like as soon as school went out or whatever, and you might have a 30, 45-minute wait to get a court. And now it's like that. It's not like that anymore with tennis, but it is like that with pickleball now.
Yeah. Well, that's what's exciting. You're just introduced to a whole new genre of people, and the whole goal with this is to have the pickleball people to sell them jewelry, pickleball jewelry, but they're also going to buy wedding rings, engagement rings. They're going to get specialty manufacturing. So the whole idea is to gain that customer and then develop that relationship.
Right. Yeah.
And
it kind of makes the pie a little bigger.
Well, it makes a huge pie because you can constantly, once they bought something they like it and this and that, we can move it into all kinds of things. We move them into cable, we move them to wedding ring. That's the whole concept, really.
What's your favorite What out of all these materials, what would you say your favorite is to make things out of? Like what, and it could just be like what turns out the best, or what do you like working with, like, or what do you think ends up being the best for someone to wear or whatever. I mean, what do you like, kind of
I like
material wise?
I like the platinum cable a lot.
Yeah.
It's just got the feel to it,
Mhm.
but it's really it's whatever levels, whether it's stainless steel or it's platinum, the person can have the same. They feel the same about it. It's just where they want to be. Some people
Yeah.
just say, "Well, we're platinum. I want to wear stainless steel because I'm going to beat it up."
Yeah.
Or be out in the ocean all the time, or this and that. Or I go out on my boat with this thing every weekend, and I don't want to fall over the side. So there's a place for all of them. And
Yeah.
the titanium's fun. I mean, it's not been exploited. Uh, there's things you got to do it to make it to where it works right.
Mhm.
But it's all. I can't say that I like it all.
Yeah.
I have fun. So, I mean, I wake up early in the morning and can't wait to get to work.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's got something.
Yeah.
And you get inspired with this, and working with Neil's just been a wonderful thing. So they've got the capacities that are available uh, through your organization.
Mhm.
It's just huge, because I don't want to get back into a situation in the States where you have to hire 20 or 30 people, and then you have a COVID problem, or you've got some hiccup in the economy, and you've got all these people looking at you going like, where's, we did that. And
Right.
so what we want to do is more or less be creative end of it, prototype it, get it to where it's functional, and then hand it off.
Yeah. Right.
Likewise, I mean, I think it's been a lot of fun over the last many months doing that kind of thing, right? Taking our platform, all our capabilities, and putting that creativity to it, and developing this pickleball line has been a lot of fun.
Mm.
Still trying to. We're still working through the cable stuff, but we want to introduce that, and that cable stuff. By the way, the cable bracelets. Guy, maybe talk about that a little bit in the men's stores, because that's such an interesting
Yeah.
other venue for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that men's store is an untapped market. You got
Yeah.
guys here buying $3,000 to $25,000, $30,000 worth of clothes, and they'll pick up. I mean, a pair of blue jeans will cost you $500 or $600. I'm looking at them going, well, they look pretty much like my $40 blue jeans, but
All right, Guy, you're
we,
not helping this Zinnia sponsorship I'm after, so shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, shut up.
so anyway, we can cut all that out. So but anyway, that men's market, the men's clothing stores is a market that we're into. We've got two locations right now because I know the guys that own them, but they're selling primarily those threaded interchangeable pieces.
Yeah.
And they in the last week they both said, "Oh, you need to come down here, take an inventory, and restock us because we're selling this stuff fast."
Wow.
And I think didn't you say that you had somebody in a men's store?
Yeah, similar up here in Chattanooga as well. And I mean, yeah, the feedback seems amazing. I mean, they're easy to wear. The clasp is, I mean, I know you said it's a quick release. I mean, it really is super, but it's not going anywhere unless you want it to. But it's really easy to work, and it's what am I trying to say? It's like I think it's a step up. Just getting it on. Like I have a really hard time with bracelets, getting them on with the little lobster clasp or whatever. You
Yeah.
usually have to have someone else help you, or you just have to kind of finagle it a little bit or whatever. These are
Yeah.
amazing to just kind of loop in, and it sort of just kind of threads and connects, and it's really nice.
Well, that's the whole concept. If you can't put it on and it's not take it off, people aren't as excited about it.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
everything. We've got a new class that we're basically, as we speak, we had a patent on this class called the pincher class, where you just pinch it together and keep move from Oro America.
Wow.
You bought half the patent, and we ran it out pretty hard. And then Mike Gusky bought Oro America, and he didn't want to pay the extra $1 for the class. So, and then the patent round. So we're rediscovering that whole thing because we figured out how to make it even easier. And that'll be out here. We'll do 3-4 sizes. And,
Wow.
talk to Neil about making that whole thing.
This is like a clasp, and you pinch it to close it?
Yeah, you just pinch it like this.
Wow.
And so ergonomically, it works. You can get in there. You can go this way. You can go this way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is sort of
Oh, cool.
what it looks like. You just take it and pinch it like that.
Hang on, go upwards a little bit on the screen, or lift up higher a little.
What was that?
Lift it up a little higher. There we go. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, and to open and close it, you just take it and pinch it. You don't have to pick it. You pinch it.
Wow.
It self loads.
That's pretty cool. I've never seen anything like that.
This is something to go in every jewelry store in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem you got is, it's got a through body rivet that the spring's not going to pop out of place, and it's just, it wears, and if you do have a problem, use a 316L stainless, marine resistant stainless instead of a steel spring.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of little things to it that we're doing, and we're working on. Working on a design patent with it right now.
That's amazing. I would imagine. I mean, I think one of the biggest problems that a consumer, like a regular person, has with their jewelry, getting it on. My mom talks about it all the time. I just got her like a rope chain for Christmas, and I mean, she loves it or whatever, but she's like, man, I wish it was a little easier to put on, or
This is the answer to that.
Yeah.
That problem.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
No, we sold. I mean, Oro America was probably the largest importer of rope chain in the day.
Wow.
And so he put it on everything he had.
Yeah.
And so we know it works. We know exactly the class that we're going to start marketing here shortly works a lot easier than the old.
Yeah.
Ergonomically, your finger fits in the right place. It's got the right motion to it. And so we're looking to be able to replace and make life easier for a lot of people. Plus, it's strong and it doesn't fall off.
Right.
These clasps have those two nibs, and it's got a spring, and it's so small that if you hit that clasp wrong, they pop out that little nib on the side.
Oh, yeah.
And spring pop. I mean, I've had probably 4 clasps fail in the last 4 or 5 months before I could even get them out the door. I mean, you sit there playing with the customer, everything falls apart.
Right.
I built a big pendant. And I'll tell you, the thing what we're doing too is we do fingerprints.
Yeah.
But we make like a 3D fingerprint.
Yeah. And
then put borders around them. Oh, and I have one carat quarter oval in the center, make a big oval with diamonds around it.
Yeah.
Like an $11,000 piece, and the only thing we didn't make on it was the chain. And the first night she goes to the party, the damn thing falls off.
Oh.
The clasp failed.
Oh man, yeah.
And I don't know if you heard about the clasp thing, Neil, but we've got a new one coming up that will basically should go into all the jewelry stores that I want to talk to about manufacturing this whole thing.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you when you talk about tennis, like tennis bracelets are hot right now. Tennis bracelets, necklaces, but it's always the clasp or things like this. That's where I think there's so much room for innovation and setting things apart. With
that's what Jimmy and I, my partner, Jimmy, we've been together for 20 years, and he went over to Beards for 20 years, and we were back together, and we're collaborating in all kinds of new class. You
Yeah,
know,
that's what I love about the Mariners class. Is it's a class that's functional. It's very sturdy. It's easy to take on and off, but it looks beautiful, right? It's so instead of having this like a mechanical thing that you have to deal with and worrying about security and all that stuff,
Yeah.
you take that and turn it into something that's it's beautiful, it's sturdy, it functions. That sets something that sets a bracelet apart.
Mm.
yeah,
That's something now where you can lean into it.
yeah. Well, that's what Jimmy and I are working on. You know, we've got. There's no end to that. I mean, I've got 3 classes that are never been seen before that all work just as easy. I've got one that's like an oval shape, more rounded. You can put like little diamonds, you pave the whole thing, but it functions just like the Mariners class. It has
That's
it has a pin you can either pull out or a button you push in. The arm opens up.
yeah.
So there's
Can you cast it?
yeah yeah
Nice.
that's the whole thing, and I think it cast part of it and probably either binder jet print parts of it or mem parts of it. And
Yeah.
there is most of the stuff we do is a little bit more complicated than normal stuff, and most people don't want to go to the trouble that we go to make it, but that's what people. I mean, they're not knocking it off. The marriage class has been out there for almost 30 years, and we don't have a patent on it any longer, but we have a trademark on it, so that the trademarks last forever. But that's what's exciting is what I see is there's so much out there, so much ahead of us that we haven't even started or thought of yet. We'll be making stuff next year we haven't thought of.
Yeah.
And just opens up another market. And if you work into these IM markets, it just expands to whether it's us doing it retail or it's selling to a store, or a pickleball store or retail store. It's something for somebody to talk about and something to take time to count it. Like the threaded end caps. I mean, it's enthusing because they can change things. I mean, you put team colors. We got the mighty Jaguars in Jacksonville.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, I think they last the whole country. But it was sad to put that much talent, money into some place, and you go like, God, that's something. But anyway, that's the team colors is a big thing. I mean, we get a lot of people, even at the men's store, they're asking for these guys' colleges or alumni of Florida, some school out west, and they all have colors. Then you find there's college teams, professional teams of all different, they could be a hockey team. It could be like the Pittsburgh, the gold and the black. We do that. It sells well.
Yeah.
So there's just in the men's store really resonate with that stuff because these guys are buying something that not only is it neat, but they've got a reason to buy it. Oh, that's my school that I went to. And by the way, next time he comes in, he buys a gold color or a blue color, or they're the repeat sale for just the cable part of it doing well.
Mm.
So no, everything that we're looking at, is pretty much castable. And there'll be some parts that we look at. You got casting, you got machining, you got binder jet, you got mem. And you take the best modality of all those things and then you combine them. Might be easy, this is a better part if we do it that way, and this is a better part if we do it, but you bring it all together in one piece to make it work for you. So that's what we love.
And so do you guys do a lot of like finished jewelry at the same time? Is it sort of two different entities in your head? Like one is this sort of it's not mass produced, but producing some of this stuff at scale and these bracelets and things, and then you have another sort of section. The other half of your brain is towards, you know, individual pieces or kind of one of the kind things and stuff like that.
Yeah. No. So what we have a retail store. Jimmy went back into my old store, Beards in town, was a big retailer. I mean, they were about 16 million a year.
Wow.
Yeah. So they were running 20, 30, 40 custom jobs a month. And Jimmy's been doing CAD for over 30 years. He's phenomenal with it.
Cool.
So he understands that side of the business. I like the other side where you make one of them and you can sell 10,000 of them.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You know, and so what we do on this store is we'll be the premier custom guys in the city. I think, you know, we send Shaw, you know, a lot of what we're doing. Jimmy has, you know, some of it we make in house, but he's got, you know, just to the point where we need to make pretty much everything out of house because it's getting too busy. We'll be in another year just by word of mouth and people getting out there. We'll get most of the CAD work or the custom work because we're not taking advantage of the people. You know, it's like there's stores out there charging 4 and 6 times what they're paying for lab grown, you know, and,
right. Yeah.
and because I knew they need to, I mean, these stores, you know, you think all the diamonds that they sold, now those diamonds, they might sell the same amount of big stones, but there's no money, there's no contribution to overhead.
Right.
You know, so they're
yeah.
That's you know, you get stores with, you know, $4 or $5 million worth of diamonds in inventory, and most things, you know, they're not going up in value.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
And the lab grown has such a low sales threshold. I mean, there's no question. I mean, I had people in front of the store, and you know, you could buy this stone for $80,000. You can buy this one for $12,000. And the guy looks at his wife and goes, "Look, I'll take you a trip to Europe if you buy that one."
Right.
You know, I'll go. You know.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, it's a tough. Yeah, it really changed a lot as far as the total dollars in the market for a store.
So,
Yeah,
which is good, and I think it's great for Shaw because people are going to get more things made. They can afford to buy a bigger stone. They're going to get more elaborate ring. They're going to spend more for the creation of the ring and not just the stoning. You know, so that's
I like it. I think, you know, if you were going to draw a positive or whatever from the industry, I think what you just said is nice. It does make jewelry more accessible, and I think it opens up. You know, we had this whole big conversation about, you know, we want people to make interesting jewelry and meaningful jewelry, and if making things like that, this lady trying to put a mustard seed, I mean, you know, just as the example right before we started, that if buying lab grown diamonds and putting them on shoes and golf clubs and other things becomes more attainable for more people, then I think everyone wins because we get more jewelry in out there. I think that's fun. So yeah, it did have an effect on the total dollar.
Neil built a skateboard truck with diamond wheels.
Do you have that nearby?
Who did?
Oh, the display case. And
Neil, are you and I going to fight after this airs? We've made a skateboard.
Oh yeah, and that's
come up here.
That's a market there that everybody goes after. But these are all, you know, if you watch these skateboard
Did I not tell you about this?
They're all about marrying A. You know, and so
Neil, you didn't tell me about this. You made a skateboard truck with diamond wheels?
Yeah.
And I'm finding out about this now.
Let's try to keep the episode exciting.
Okay, yeah. Wow.
I was saving it.
So what happened was we had where to go with it. It's just going to take time to figure out how to penetrate into that market.
Yeah.
But these skate guys make big money now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, that's the coolest thing. You showed it on camera. Maybe we'll get a picture that.
And it's got like little rubber grommets in here. It's got the
Wow.
on the top have diamonds set in them.
Wow.
The wheels spin. So
That's cool.
it's that's something that we'll figure out this year.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, but
And I think, within reason, I know gold's real high, but speaking to the stone thing, I mean, that becomes way more doable as a viable product with lab grown. And in that sense, I think, it's been a good thing.
it lets people
Yeah.
get into things and explore design possibilities because they're not buying a big stone. They can spend more money on the development and
Right.
the creation of the piece.
Yeah. People should be
And
more
where it's all
open.
going.
Yeah. People should be more open to coming in and telling stores some crazy thing that they're interested in, because they're probably going to find that doing that stuff with lab grown is like way more affordable than they may think it is, especially if they're used to buying earth mine stones.
Well,
And even cutting shapes, there's
Yeah.
like lab grown diamond initials are getting really popular.
Yeah.
We've cut, we cut that like a buffalo shape for somebody's logo.
Yeah.
Um,
Arrowhead stuff, all kinds of
yeah.
all kinds of shit. You can kind of do inscriptions and enameling on the inside, like on top of the stones now.
Yeah.
Uh,
This just opens up the material for
Yeah.
a lot of creativity.
yeah.
Yeah, and then that's the colors, with what you guys are doing with the enameling. I mean, I love enamel. I've always loved it. I used to do dental, ceramics in dentistry, and it's the same thing as ground glass, basically.
Mm.
And but I've always loved it, the translucence, and there's a lot that to really explore in that area that sets yourself way apart from anybody else.
Yeah.
And I think it's more, I don't know what you're more luxurious, so maybe you think of, and now you think of the egg, what was the name of the big eggs?
The Fabergé eggs.
Yeah, Fabergé. I think, and all that translucence and that French,
Yeah.
and that there's a lot to do with that. I mean, you could, and that's stuff that we want to explore, even with the pickleball and tennis. We can make
Thank you.
we can make balls and have the lines, like say a tennis ball. You can have all the little lines in the tennis ball.
Yeah.
How channel set with diamonds, and then you could take the rest of it and enamel it yellow.
Yeah.
Or what color you want.
Awesome.
And you
Such a good idea.
or you can put your initials in it if you'd like.
Right. Right.
You can cat all that out. The bigger the better.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Because
but that's the type of stuff, you just sit there and talk about long enough, and like sailing, I did a foil for the America's Cup boat. And I just didn't get it done in time for the America's Cup, but there's still a market for it because it's more of a memory thing. Say there was thousands of people involved with America's Cup for a long period of time, and you can put Barcelona 2024 on there, which is it doesn't offend anybody's trademark, but it's something every time you look at it, says, yeah, man, that was a blast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Latitude, longitude things. I'm big on that. It's your favorite spot. I own one of my bracelets, and it's basically the mouth of the inlet of Key West. And every time I see that, I think about going out in that boat and going spearfishing. Every time. So there's combinations, and I see one with a platinum cable with a bridge with a diamond row down top on one side, latitude on the other side, and longitude with navy blue enamel behind it, like a dark ocean blue.
Yeah.
With a platinum bracelet with a mariners class, I don't know how much more nautical you could get,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And I'll send you a picture of a guy that has a store. He's got a Breitling watch on. He's got two of our bracelets on. Then on his forearm, he's got a tattoo where him and his wife met.
Oh,
There's a lot to get to that. There's a lot out there.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
but
That's awesome. Yeah, that's
uh,
yeah.
but the dam leads. I mean, there's just a lot to do there.
Yeah, that's really kind of picked up. I guess recently we've even had a lot of requests for like the crazy colors and things like that. I mean, I guess that's been around for a while, but it seems like people are a lot more interested in it right now.
Well, the problem is you didn't see any of it for so long that
Mhm.
if you don't see it, you don't think about it, and you don't
Right,
create a story for it. You know,
right. You have like enameling there? You do that?
no,
No.
no, you guys have the available.
Okay, well we do. Yeah, I know we do it.
Yeah, that that's a special. And there's all these little parts of this industry that are specialized, and you let those guys do what they do best. These guys
Yeah,
do what they do best, and have these guys machine that they do that best, and
yeah.
you know,
That
or you
enameling is tough.
or you win the $1.3 billion lottery and have the best shop in the world.
That's right. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's all.
So what would you do? I said, boy, I would build a shop like you wouldn't believe.
Wow, yeah. You need. You've seen the. Oh man, who did it? It was the. It cost $1 billion. It was. I guess it's over. What was it? Robert De Niro or something? Neil, you seen that? They just opened up. That's what guy would build. He did. It's the very first vertical uh, 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 movie production studio in the world.
Oh, okay.
It's vertical instead of like big, and so it's on the water, and it's like in town. It's like right. It's his first one that could ever. It costs like $1 billion. Yeah, it's they're on top of each other. They use some crazy building mechanism and to do it or whatever. And that's what I imagine guy having if he won the lottery. Is some crazy. He's taking notes right now. He just turned around to grab a pen. He's like, "Hang on a second." Right.
Yeah,
Jewelry manufacturing skyscraper.
Skyscraper. Yeah. Well, okay, it doesn't sound as interesting if you just say.
hope we can make a nice little gold missile though for you. Make a gold missile.
Yeah.
I swear, these guys, somebody out of the service will buy these things.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not in the. I might buy a gold missile. That sounds kind of cool.
I'd kind of be
I
interested
love
in gold missile. Yeah.
I'd be interested in the gold.
and that goes all the way back to the memory shaped titanium. They found it. They were trying to build a nose cone
Right.
for a new missile.
Right.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah. Oh, that's
Yes,
cute.
but it's endless possibilities out there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So that's and there'll be something new coming along. We'll find. You always keep looking around, but I'm not sure what it is. I've talked to the guys that build the lariats, for tap, the cowboys,
Yeah.
the rodeo people.
Mm.
Yeah. One of the pieces of the bracelet that I want to do is made out of that same guys that make the bigger stuff. I wanted to make it a smaller diameter. We can put it into a bracelet.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to them when we were doing that equestrian thing. So that whole market's huge.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The cowboy. Yeah. The whole.
That market's big.
Yeah. If the show Yellowstone is any indication,
Oh yeah.
there is billions of dollars.
Yeah. No, that was just a disappointment when it stopped. And did you watch the very end of it?
So I know the new season come out. I'm not all the way through the new season yet, but I'm up to date up until like maybe 2 into this new season. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can watch them back to back now.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, you know what's going on in Montana. I mean, there's like every hedge fund billionaire in the world is up in Montana buying up land left, right, and center.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Neil, you I mean, it's okay. I mean, we don't want to look at you, but you're gone now, but your voice is still there. It's very ominous, very ghost-like.
I'm gone. You can't see me.
Your video went away, which again I'm not saying is a bad thing, but your
Okay.
voice is still just as loud.
Oh, I got a warning here. That's why.
Oh,
Where
there you're back.
there we go.
You're back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, they are. Yeah, the Jackson Hole and the Montana areas and all that stuff. I mean that I can't even. I used to go there and ski and like just go, and I can't even go anymore. It's all bought up. It's too expensive. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
a lot of money.
Everything is expensive there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So.
No, so yeah, we used to have I used to lease a case inside the Harley Davidson of Aspen. My buddy Chris Rossmeyer from Daytona, he opened one in Aspen, and it was phenomenal because they stayed open late at night. There's nothing but they sort of ran him out of town because they didn't like all the noise from the motorcycles.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, but
wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we used to do motorcycle chain. We die strike all the links and machine all the bushings, and then we've gotten out of where you could put diamonds all the way around on the outside of them.
Wow.
You can do it stainless and sleeve it.
On actual motorcycle chains, like on a motorcycle?
No, they look like a bike motor. Yeah, bracelet.
But, yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, diamonds on that. Crazy. Yeah. Okay.
So, but Felix Sabatis bought the first one. It was an auction down there. They call it the Biker's Ball in Daytona. And they say, oh, you got to, oh my God, Biker's Ball. What the hell is this going to be?
Biker's Ball.
But it was all these guys in the automotive business. They had all these huge dealerships.
Yeah.
And Kyle Petty was there, Richard Petty was there, because Felix was the sponsor for those two. We went out, he bought the bracelet and went had breakfast with him on Victory Lane the next morning. So there's a lot of things just that are different that you can, you don't think there's a market there, but
yeah.
And we used to take it, had a little booth. We had an indoor outdoor carpet. I had an oak showcase and plants, and I had fans. I had track lighting, music. And they said, well, don't you think this is a little overkill? And we looked around, I'm going to say, go over there. That's Ray. He was the largest crane company in the world.
Right.
Just, and Kyle Petty used to come and sit behind the booth with me, and they all dressed like you don't know anybody. And he hand me jewelry to show people.
Wow.
He was high, So,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that's it. When you get into this, it's fun. Like the boating side of this is a lot of fun. The fishing tournaments are huge.
Right.
I mean, they've got these guys are winning $6 million on fish. And that gets a lot of attention. I mean, Michael Jordan's a big fisherman now.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of.
What's this with this yacht racing situation? Why did I write that down? Neil told me there's something about yacht.
That was the Americas. That's the America's Cup that he was talking about earlier.
Yeah. That's the America's Cup. Yeah. Yeah, it is shocking the money in boating. I didn't know this. I had some friends down that are down in just north of Miami. I can't remember what it is called, what town that is, but well, it's where all the big golfers.
Naples.
Is that it? I guess it doesn't matter, but yeah, somewhere down in there. But there's some. Yeah, you were just saying they win those huge. I mean, the amount of money in like sports fishing, like sports fishermen, and I mean, even just like the filming of that lifestyle is this insane industry. It's I was all the other couple of years ago. I was like, I had some friends that were like, oh, you should buy like a boat or whatever. I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I will. And I went. I didn't realize how much a boat costs. The boat is crazy, like $1 million sometimes.
It's not. The boat's generally the cheapest part.
Is it? Oh gosh! Oh no, that's not good. Yeah,
they're filling up and they're buying food for everybody on the boat.
Yeah,
but that's a huge market. did
You've got Michael Jordan now, retired from basketball. Now he's into fishing, and he's getting pretty up there. Is that right,
yep,
Guy? He's like
yeah.
he's
He,
just like a competitive person. He needs to just win, and so now he's winning sports fishing tournaments.
Oh,
And
he's
yes,
oh
his
yes,
boat is called Catch 23.
yep. And see, we want to build a
pretty good
swivel
name.
bracelet.
That's,
Yeah, we're doing the swivel bracelets where you can put channel set diamonds all the way around them.
yeah,
The goal is to, we want to build whether it's out of whatever material, we want to build one for him and have catch 23 on his. And,
yeah.
and stainless steel bracelets and you hand them, he could actually have gold bracelets and hand them to people.
Yeah, right.
But that's the type of dynamics. You look where people are spending money and having a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And then you just say, okay, what can I make to let these people say, I'm a fisherman, I'm a sailor. The Americans, when we were talking about the America's Cup, Red Bull has the biggest formula
yeah,
thing. Britannica, Mercedes Formula One team, Tito got behind Britannica and put all that Mercedes technology in it.
yeah.
So it's the Formula One of the water. They're going to start having a series, is what I think, instead of just one big race every 4 years.
Right.
They'll start
Turn it more
racing.
into the F1 kind of thing, like how they're doing
Yeah.
circuits and
Yeah, and that's sort of what Netflix did with Formula One at Drive to Survive.
I love.
Where they,
Yeah, I love that show.
yeah. So then you see all the different people, and something bad happens, and you see all the different camps.
Yeah,
some are cheering, some are crying.
yeah. They have them for golf now, and they have a tennis one. Weirdly, no pickleball. A tennis one they have. What is the other?
There's surfing. The
Surfing.
surfing. Sorry, Apple has surfing. It's really cool.
Oh, on
Yeah.
Apple TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what you do is you go and look for these people. That's where I think these markets are. You got to go find out what people are doing and spending money,
Yeah.
because the traditional jewelry customer is getting older and they're not buying more jewelry.
Mm.
I got enough jewelry. And then their kids get it and they don't like it because it's not in style. So we call it rejewel. We take it all and redesign it. That's what Neil does. So that's where this whole thing is.
Yeah.
But you can do that. It just goes on.
I like that rejewel.
Rejewel is
Yeah.
a good term. I've not heard that
good.
actually. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
Well,
that's
guys,
it.
we've been on for about 2.5 hours. I don't know. If
Well, that's quite fun.
This
Do what?
has been great.
This
And
has
you
been
got
awesome.
you got to edit 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were spotted for 8 minutes. We got 2 hours and 30 minutes. Yeah, no, just kidding. Yeah,
Riverside is about to kick us off because we keep going like way over their
Oh my
their
God.
suggested limits. They're about to
Yeah.
they're about to fire us.
they're like no one really cares. 45 minutes, and we're like 45 minutes. Our intro is 45 minutes.
Yeah.
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 Neil and I, like a few days ago, we do some more relaxed episodes. Just him and I, and from the road, I travel around, kind of on the road and stuff, and so we talk sometimes on there, and those are literally supposed to be way shorter than like if we have a guest or something. They are.
We were told by the editor to keep them to like 20 minutes.
20 minutes. It's supposed to be 20 minutes. They're like, no one is going to listen to you two talk about nothing for any longer than 20 minutes. Guy, we just cranked one out the other day. What was it? 2 hours? It was at least an hour.
Hour and 45. Hour and 45.
And so they were like, okay, we can cut it. It's fine. We our heads were like, we'll cut it down to like a couple 20 minutes. I don't know if we're narcissistic or what, but it's out. It's an hour and 40. See, people are just going to have to drudge through an hour and 40 minutes. We didn't get anything.
Well, you could have part 1 and part 2.
Well, that's what we thought. And we're like, let's just make everyone listen to 2 hours of Neil and I. So no, this is great. Yeah.
And by the way, guys, this is the first time we have. This is basically the first time we've that jewelry has actually made an appearance on the Jeweling podcast. So
Yeah. So in every
appreciate,
yeah, Guy, in every episode we've talked obviously about jewelry, but we've actually, and at this point it's like a running joke. We've never actually shown a piece of jewelry. We keep saying we're going to do it, and then we never do it.
Yeah.
And so you have taken the initiative. You have physically
yeah.
a piece of jewelry onto the screen. So
Yeah.
our viewers,
Well, you're not going to be able to see it. I've got pictures that I'll send you that you can flash in there.
yeah,
Show you this, especially the reliquaries, the pearl stuff that Jimmy built.
yeah.
That's really incredible stuff, and the story's huge. You know,
That would be
the,
really cool. Yeah,
there's sell these, and they'll be looking for. They've got more pearls, and they'll look for people who would like something custom made. So
Yeah.
this is nice and high end. So this is right up Neil's alley.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
here's this pearl. You do something with it.
yeah. Make Neil will buy a pearl necklace or whatever. He likes pearls, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're cool. Yeah, that's
I'll send you pictures to back all these things up. And, that you can flinch in. I got pictures of the machine running the cable.
I'd love to see.
You know.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I'm imagining like a pasta machine that just cranks out the little pasta noodles and they clip them every few inches or whatever. So,
That's the whole thing, and that's what I'm interested in doing is like how do they do that type thing? How do you make this bracelet? Okay, well, this is how we make it. People don't understand how complicated things are.
right.
I mean,
No, we're doing that kind of. That's the whole idea of this. I mean, we could do a whole nother episode on like actually showing the machines and how things are made or whatever. But the whole thing is like people don't know how jewelry's made, whether it's cast jewelry or some of these machines or continuous casting. There's so much interesting technology and process and handmade stuff. There's machine made, there's handmade. There's so much that goes on, and it's cool. And so we wanted to invite people in behind the scenes to see how it's made, and I think that's just going to make it more exciting to have the piece. If they know how that platinum bracelet or even the cable bracelets are made, that just makes it that much more cool to have one.
Oh yeah, we'll say like, well, this is binder jet printing. We'll have, people binder jet printing and show them how the machine's working, and then PVD. It's like, oh, this is how this is done. Show them all these different modalities of manufacturing, and CNC's cranking away.
Yeah,
and, I mean, get people interested in it. So, man,
oh yeah,
that took a lot of thought to make that little thing.
exactly.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we used to make these big gold necklaces out of the Mariners class. We'd have a Mariners class, then an anchor link, and Mariners. And you spend 4 hours buffing that thing out to where it's like perfection. And then you hand it to somebody. The first thing they do, they put it on their hand and bouncing it up and down like this. Now I'm going like, God,
no. Yeah.
So I just spent 4 hours making the thing.
Yeah, it's just throwing it around. Yeah.
You got it up already.
Yeah, they punched it up and crumpled it. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty good.
Like especially with seeing people like stone setting, this type of thing. And, I'd like to get into something that where it really you get people where they want to watch it. I mean, John, I'm not sure how many people he's got on Instagram, but he's got hundreds of thousands of people.
Wow.
And you can get out in front of a lot of people quick.
Yeah.
And you get like a following. His daughter, Alora, does Instagram, and she sells everything she makes.
Yeah. I'm one of their followers. I follow them. So yeah. It's the coolest thing. Yeah. Yeah. People want to see how this stuff comes out of the ground or is made. I mean, it's just in our industry, we talk about it all the time, is so closed off. So we're really excited to talk to people, and especially you, because you help open that up so much to people. so they can get a glimpse of what it's like in our industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what I get up every day and I'm excited about doing this.
Yeah.
That's what's the fun part because there's no end to it. It's not like, oh, I got to go do this every day. Same thing. Well, problem I got is I got too many things.
Right. Yeah.
In fact, that used to be our first company was called TMI.
Yeah.
It was too many ideas, too much too many idiots.
Yeah.
It was
Neil, are you writing that down? That's good.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
And I said it was a subsidiary of NEM. Not enough money.
Not enough. That's right. Yeah, that's funny. So,
Oh yeah. So
well,
this whole thing should be fun,
Yeah.
and and that's what we have in our store is people come in here and have fun. We're like friends, we're like family, and they get involved in the process. And the difference is, everybody in here has been, Jimmy's been doing it 35, 40 years. Kim, the gemologist, has been selling custom and doing their gemology in the same here. So you're not talking to people that really haven't been around the block.
right.
There's, if we don't know something, somebody that I know will know. So
Or you'll build 8 machines to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's we've been doing this so long. We've got a network of people. You call them up and say, "Oh, this guy does that." You don't call. It's the guy's going to call you.
Right. That's good. Yeah.
But no, I was trying to get a hold of people at Stull, the old school guys that are, and they wouldn't let me talk to them.
Oh, really?
I got a problem, and we've done this 3 times, and they wouldn't let me talk to the guy, and so I sent the product back that it was that platinum, and then the guy, so they kept wanting to bill me for it, and I said it didn't perform. We tried 3 times, and somebody said that I was just going to get credit for it. So we ended up, the billing people called us up. We complained to them. I said, well, we didn't get to talk to my buddy, is the head of the metal fab. Well, then he calls on the phone, does a test. He says, you're exactly right. That stuff didn't perform at all because they can't charge you for that. But that's the thing is people, for some reason, try to close people off. I guess they think everybody's got the same, these big secrets. But the thing is if the more people that understand it and the more people that collaborate back and forth, the more interesting things you can build in the industry.
Yeah. And the more likely it is to make a better product coming from manufacturers, better experiences in the store, and the consumers understand more too. I mean, I think it's better for everyone. Yeah. And I mean, to an extent, our industry will totally die out if those techniques and that knowledge goes away, with the generation.
We first came out with our pincher class. We went up to Baloo, and I knew those guys through all my friends up there in Rhode Island, and we wanted them to create a die strike class. We went a big old tour of the whole place, and they came back in and said, honestly, we don't know how to do that, or we don't think. You got to be kidding me! It's one of the state-of-the-art stand facilities in the world.
Yeah.
And then they go out of business.
Yeah.
Because I said, you put me and Jimmy back there for 3 weeks, we'll have this thing in line.
Yeah.
So, but that's sort of what's died out. I mean, all these big companies in Rhode Island are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the tool makers, I mean, they used to do all the gold. Phil probably would stamp a gold shell and have like a stainless steel brass case, watches and stuff like that. That technology's not there. They'll tool and die knowledge. So, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been, I'm going to have to run in a second, but this has been an awesome discussion. Love to do it again sometime and see more of the techniques and all that stuff, but we'll get those pictures and put them up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
No, this
Yep.
is
It's a lot of fun, to be honest with you.
It was good, yeah. We had, and it's good. We talked for 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is good, and we only had about 2 hours and 40 minutes of technical issues leading up to that as well. So in
Yeah.
total, it was very even. Yeah, it was very evenly split. It was good. So yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, thank you guys. Yes. Hey, everyone. We just want to say thank you again for listening and tuning in to the Carrizza podcast, where we talk all things jewelry. We really hope you enjoyed the episode, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks.